And I know I'm not. You don't hear me because I'm not talking right now. So. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me right now here on my streaming. Give me a second here to move things around a bit. But I am streaming here this afternoon on my, or early this evening here on my platforms. We're doing live on. What are we live on? We're live on YouTube. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. I'm not sure what Twitch is, but we are live on there, and we're live on Facebook, of course. I would like to do TikTok as well, but unfortunately, I don't. You can't do Facebook and TikTok at the same time. It's really, really difficult to do that. So let me move this around here some, so y'all can see it. But this is what I'm tracking here. This is a supercell thunderstorm. If you were watching me earlier, and I'm sure some of you were. This is a supercell thunderstorm that developed along the dry line this afternoon out to the west, and it is moving fast it is booking it to the east right now, moving very, very fast. And it's currently, we got warnings out for southwestern parts of Wilbarger County and northwestern Baylor County. This storm is kind of moving to the east northeast. Let me put this in motion for you here. Kind of moving a little more east. Kind of moving a little bit east-northeast here is what it's kind of moving at. Moving, like I say, rapidly. And it's gonna cross the highway here and headed right towards Wichita County. This is gonna pass south, or at least this cell in particular is gonna pass south of Vernon, but it's moving very fast, and it's gonna move into the southern parts and move across the southern parts of Wilbarger County, and then it's gonna head into Wichita County, and it'll be here quick. I'm talking about time right now is 5:10. I think by 6 o'clock it'll be into Wichita County. On the current trajectory, as long as it continues to move in this direction and doesn't deviate, and sometimes these supercells will deviate some. Let's see, I'm watching. I'm monitoring the weather service at this point in time. They were going to go tornado warning, but not with this particular storm. Looks like they're going to go tornado warning with the storm up there in Oklahoma. So that's where a lot of the tornado ingredients are. Nothing that really screams a lot of tornadoes this afternoon, but we just don't have a lot of low-level moisture. But it has gotten a little bit better, and there's a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere. So these storms, they are rotating some, but they're rotating mostly just above the Earth's surface. Let me see if I have Cam here or not. I don't know that I do. There's Cam. Cam, I've got you on now. And I wanted to, I got you on. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and wanted to find out from you, what you're doing. You're just sitting there right now. What are you doing? Looks like the storm's getting pretty close to you. Tell our viewers where you're at and what your plan is.
All right. I don't know if we have the audio and internet issues fixed yet.
I
hope we do.
We do.
But, oh, great. Okay. Right now I'm saying north of Maybell. I am watching here. Actually, I'll move my camera so y'all can see me like over the mount. Oh, God. Come on. So you can, that's awkward. Hang on, let me flip this. So you can kind of see the wall cloud out there. So I'm watching this wall cloud to move eastward. It will pass just off to my north. I don't want to get too far north because the road I'm on, I only have an eastward option, but in order for me to get to that eastward option, I have to go pretty far north. It would take me out of play of the storm. So off to my back, I have 277, so I can move northeast and then make a northward jump. And, if I go further north, my cell service is going to be completely gone. So I'm working with minimal cell service, but we got something going right now. I don't know if I lost you.
I muted the mic. Sorry. Yeah. I'm letting the weather service know what we're seeing here. So, okay.
Ken, you should also have my tracker feed cameras on in the studio right now as well.
Okay, I see them. Yeah, perfect. So, but yeah, so what are you just going to sit there and let it come to you?
Yeah, I'm kind of just gonna let it sit here and get to me because, like I said, I can get closer to this thing, but I don't want to get too close because if I do, it takes me out of play on the storm. And right now, the inflow is really starting to kick up, and the winds look like they are about a south southeast motion, so they are going to blow a little bit more moisture into the storm right now. So
Mhm.
we'll keep an eye, see how this moves across. And like I said, I want to go a little further north, but I would completely drop my cell service, and I'm also would be in the hills on this road.
Yeah, definitely don't do that. So I'm just looking at the velocity scans on here, and I can see what's considered mid-level mesocyclone with it, but I do not see anything that shows anything coming down to the surface at this point in time. So does it look to you like it might be slightly elevated, or does it look?
No, it's not. It's not elevated. It's not elevated.
So it's definitely 100% surface based, then, right?
Yes, it's surface based, no question.
Okay. Well, that's
because you can't tell on the camera, but it's low. It's pretty low.
okay. Well, it's not rotating a whole lot at this point in time. I mean, there's a little, like I say, some mid-level stuff, but nothing that's imminent. But it's got a nice hook with it. So we do got a nice RFD there wrapping on the back side of it, which you see that with Supercell. So I'm not surprised by that. It looks like it's moving almost east northeast. It looks like the hail core is moving right at Electra. So I would be thinking that we'd probably see something in Electra. I'm surprised there's no new warnings out on it. Yeah, there should be some new warnings. There it is. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning out. Northern Baylor and southeastern parts of Wilbarger County. And this is going to be south of Vernon, but this is headed right at Electra. And I think it'll be into Electra probably before 6 o'clock. It looks like the main threat with this cell at this point in time is just hail. That's mainly what we're looking at. It's just hail, Cameron. It doesn't look like a lot in the way of low-level rotation with it yet, but we'll monitor and make sure that doesn't change or anything like that. So
just looking at the environment a little bit further to the east, there's a bit more low-level wind shear with this as well. And I haven't looked at moisture at all. I don't know how well moisture is out to the east. I know that's one of our limiting factors today. I don't know if the moisture is better off to the east than it is here, because when I looked at the east a little bit ago, there was more of a southeast wind motion, so that could help return some moisture into the eastern side of the storm, I should say.
Let me look here and see if there's any. I'm going to do a quick analysis here. The Weather Service agrees with what we've been saying, Cameron. There's just not a lot of instability out there or storm energy here, so we don't have a lot in the way, of these storms just aren't as intense as what you'd expect to see this time of year. It's pretty, they're not bad, but still, it certainly could be a lot worse. I'm looking at the visible, nice clearing there. Looking at surface cape, no cap out there, and the instability has increased a bit. It is in a fairly favorable environment for it to continue to produce hail. If I'm going to take a look at the surface obs, and it looks like our dew point in Wichita Falls is at 54, so our better LCL is still a bit on the high side. So, this system really is moisture starved, to be honest about it. There just isn't a lot of good low-level moisture. 70 over 54, that's going to produce a fairly high LCL. And I'm about to look at the LCL height, and it's not too bad. Once it gets closer to Wichita Falls, it could be worse. It really isn't that bad, honestly. But if I take a look at the surface, the shear, it's about to move in a very favorable environment shear-wise. 0 to 1 kilometer storm relative velocities are somewhere around 250, somewhere in there. So, if the storm can access that low-level spin at the Earth's surface, then we're going to have some issues with it. We could have some issues. I think it's mostly a hail producer, but we'll have to keep an eye on that otherwise. So, you still there, Cameron? We still got you?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was just shaking my head. Another thing, I sent you on your phone. If you want to pull it up, you can't show it on stream, of course, for legal reasons. But StormNet, one of those AI models, has a 70% probability of this producing in the next hour.
Well, is that special algorithm that you have, a model you've been looking at?
That's the AI one. That's the one that's done pretty well with handling these things. So,
well, I'll tell you what, if that were to happen, if it did go tornadic, it's headed right at Wichita Falls, we would definitely have to blow out basketball at that point in time. But I'm not planning on doing that as of right now. I don't see.
Another thing too, Ken, as I'm sitting here watching you, I can see it pretty well, but the structure is very quickly falling apart. It was better organized about, I'd say, 20 minutes ago, but it's not. It's It looks like it. Honestly, the best way to put it, kind of looks like it's almost sheared apart right now.
Well, I mean, actually, the base reflectivity on it, the structure on the base reflectivity has cycled around. It looks a lot better now than it did, but the rotation does not. So the rotation is not nearly as well organized as it was. You can still see a little mid-level
No,
flow there. So
it's low. It's low. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not very organized looking right now.
turn
Very,
the
very
turn the
broken
camera.
up.
We ought to turn the camera around so our people here. We got 285 people watching right now. So if if you can't turn your camera around so people can see, I know you're beautiful, Cameron, and people want to see you, but we want to see the weather too. So
Oh, stop! You're gonna boost my ego. So I can't zoom in anymore.
well, I mean, you can
see the wall cloud. Hang on.
Yeah, Cameron, it looks like to me,
I
mean, you can see the flat updraft base with that. I do not see, like you say, the wall cloud we saw with it earlier, but, you do see the flat updraft
but
base.
it is right there. It's very low. It's very low, but like I said, it's falling apart. It's not well organized right now.
Well, it's getting into a better environment, at least as far as spin goes. I mean, you can see the inflow. You can see the beaver tail going into it there. And I can see the horseshoe RFD with it too. Probably, it doesn't look like a very wet RFD. But yeah, I bet it's just trying to cycle it. I figured these storms would be a little bit LP today because I figured they'd be a little moisture starved, to be honest about it. So, is
it possible that these storms are just eating up every bit of moisture out there?
I'm sure they are. I mean, it's pretty, and that's a pretty decent storm. It's not a bad storm for dew points only in the mid 50s. So. That's the limiting factor. If we had more moisture in place, I would definitely be a lot more concerned right now with this. So we're going into the newscast right now. So, but I'm gonna stay on here. I'm not going to get off, and my voice may lower some, but I'm not going to get off here. I'm gonna leave my stream up until this storm gets through with us. So, but I do have to go get. I do have to go, Cameron, and get framed up. So I'm going to leave this image up here, and then I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
I have a ton in my drawer if you want to borrow one. Okay. I may have one behind the set here. I brought my tie. I keep them there falling off. Blake, check. Hi, check. Mic check. Okay, you was okay with the shot? Yeah, fine. Alright.
I gotta say, this camera does a good. I'm on ultra wide. Come on, Cameron. Rookie mistakes happens. There you go. Now we can see a better view of it.
Let me go and see if I can track it down.
Well, now we are dealing with something known as chaser convergence, which is chasers piling up over here. Fun times. Fun times. So I'm put it out there. I was here first. I'm just putting it out there. Wait. Yeah, this thing is really falling apart structure-wise. Not much left to it right now. Not much. And we'll zoom out again. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, you got a little bit of a horseshoe shape right there. That area, let me zoom in. Let's zoom in. That area right there, that could be something
guys,
to
I'm
watch.
back. Sorry
See
about
if
that,
that's
but,
maybe something trying to come
You
together.
know, if I do disappear periodically, you know, don't leave me, because I mean we got a pretty strong storm moving into the area here, so it's you know, it doesn't appear to be tornadic at this point in time. I keep looking at the velocities and making sure nothing starts spinning up. The shear is pretty good out there, but we don't have a lot of what we call surface-based moisture, and that is a limiting factor. But this thing's probably putting down some, you know, I'd say at least 1 inch hail here this afternoon, so and early this evening. We're about to do the newscast on. We're doing this on the 24/7 channel, right? Okay, we're about to do the newscast on the 24/7 channel. Any cut-ins we do this evening, and the 24/7 channel is just the what is it? The 24/7 channel is 6.4 if you don't have so, but we're watching it. So I mean, I understand we're going to have people coming and going, but Cameron, I don't have my earpiece in right this second, or so Pea-size hail and burning and reported by Emily Harold. So I don't have my earpiece in, but you know, people want to know where you're located at. So let us know where you're at.
So I'm north of Maybell, just north. I'm on 183, I believe it is. Still learning my roads here. 183 right now. The tracker is pointed due north, and then just behind me to the south is 277. So that way I can continue to push off to the northeast and move with this storm.
All right,
and
so I'll come back.
You know,
so,
the reason
so Cameron, you're talking.
Would
Now I got you in. What are you saying, bud?
I'm just telling where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm telling them my strategy.
All right.
Ken, how are you? I need to listen to Unity somehow, so I can hear your toss to me. Are you taking me at first and full, or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna take you at first and full. Do you need to use your phone there?
Yeah, I need to use my phone.
All right. Well, you just go ahead and get off, and I'll see. You can just rejoin the collab here. You can just we can just rejoin the collab whenever we get done with the newscast here. So, but I'm gonna go back to just full now with me, and then I'll come back to you in a little bit. All right.
Okay.
All right. So I had to jump off of that. I need to pull up something to put in this other window over here, but I don't know what it is going to be at this point in time, honestly. I have another streamer I can probably take and put in there. Let me see if I can find his link here. I think he has a YouTube link, possibly. I'll have to put my mic on. So, but for right now, this storm is a hail producer. It's just the green triangle was just showing where there was the radar was picking up. This little algorithm the radar has, and it's just picking up possible hail size. Thank you for the birthday wishes, by the way. I may try to pull a TikTok up too here, so let's just see if we can do that as well. I don't think I can, but I might be able to. Thanks for the birthday wishes, y'all. I appreciate it. Is it internet? Really? You don't like the Apple? Yeah, I don't. I used to love Apple, but I don't want them. I wouldn't use them anymore. They're just, to me, they're just. Yeah, they're just not. They're not compatible with most things these days, which really don't make any sense.
Stuff like cable. Oh my God, use computer. You think I can say officials with the Witchita contractors right now?
That makes sense.
All right, well, be safe. I'll walk you out in a second, okay? Just making sure everything is still up here. We got the stream going there. I'm trying to pull up a TikTok live too, so. Oh, tell her I said thank you. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Sorry, guys. I'm in the middle of trying to I gotta go do weather.
Good evening, Texoma. I'm Priscilla Mesa. Thank you for joining us. We'll lead with weather today as Chief Meteorologist Ken Johnson joins us. And Ken, one thing we do know is it's windy out there.
Yeah, they're real windy today. We told you it was going to be windy today. And if you were watching this last week, we also talked about how there were going to be these isolated severe thunderstorms today, and we're getting those. There's not a lot of them out there, but we are watching one in particular. This is actually pretty long lived. This developed way back to the west into the Texas Panhandle over there just east of Lubbock several hours ago. It's moving quickly, and it's moving across now the southern and southeastern parts of Will Barker County. That's where we have this severe thunderstorm warning in effect. It's basically from about Lake Kent over to Lake Diversion, and then it lifts northward through the Baylor County, the Will Barker County area, south and southeast of Vernon. Out here in Vernon, you are getting some downpours right now and some small hail. There's some larger hailstones, maybe up to the size of maybe nickels or quarters to the south and southeast of you down here, moving in through the southeastern parts and southern parts of Will Barker County. This is well south of Lockett. It's south of Harrell. It's moving almost due east. We call these a right mover. Kind of the overall flow in the atmosphere causes most storms to move east northeast or more northeasterly. But when you get these supercells, oftentimes they begin to rotate, and it causes them to change their shape and sometimes change their movement. So this is a bit of a right mover, and this is headed right at Witchita County. You expect warnings for Wichita County that would include Electra, Iowa Park, KMA, and maybe eventually Burke or Wichita Falls over the next hour. This is mostly a hail producer. We can go to the Comanche Nation Entertainment First Alert Storm Tracker. We got Weatherman Cam out there in it. Cameron, it looks like you got trying to see a bit of this time, right?
83 looking straight to the north right now. You know, we've kind of been sitting here watching this one for the past 20 minutes, and it's starting to see it finally take shape once again. And you know, as it's continuing to push off to the east, it is entering a more suitable environment in terms of wind shear and what we call kinematics. So, some moving northeast so I can keep up with the storm and make sure that we have our eyes on the storm at all times going forward.
All right, well, we'll be keeping an eye on it and be watching it. I'm also live on Facebook at this my personal Savannah News Channel 6 Facebook page as well. Most coverage this evening will be done right here on the 24/7 channel or over there on Facebook. If I need to interrupt programming in the basketball game, I will, and I'll try not to.
Thank you, Ken. Earlier today, these high-speed winds knocked over a power line on Lindale Drive. Officials with
Give me just a second, guys. I'm still trying to get some stuff set up here. Hmm? You don't know how to get out there, do you? Do you know how to push the button? Okay.
Wrapped up today. Two groups were at PetSmart in Wichita Falls, Texas Pit Group and the Grand Humane Society. Blake Hill joins us.
Be safe.
You say these furry friends need a good home with loving families.
Priscilla, this week has been one to encourage
You're live.
people to
Love you.
adopt dogs at shelters.
Bye.
Rather than shopping or going to backyard breeders, you could see the love each of these dogs had, ready to give it to all their new family. They were adorable.
Sorry, I'm trying to get a little TikTok set up here too. So. I don't know how to change. Trying to get this. Oh, I got to choose. All right. All right, so I got a little bit of a TikTok up now too, in addition to my Facebook. So you might, if you're on TikTok, you can join me over there. I don't have as elaborate of a setup on TikTok as I do on the on Facebook, because on Facebook and YouTube I can use a program called Streamlabs, but on TikTok you can't do that. So I've got a TikTok up and running, but I do not have a camera in there at this time. So that's the only thing you don't see there. So this is something I tried to set up earlier. I don't really like this look, honestly.
If you missed out today, you can always check in with both Humane
But
Society
I do expect warnings to be issued for Wichita County soon. There appears to be a little rotation in it, but not a lot. Not a whole lot of rotation. The overall storm structure doesn't look quite as impressive as it did. I guess there was a way I could change the zoom steps 1, amount of zoom amount. I don't want zoom. I don't know how to change a lot of things in here, so I can zoom this out. And there's other warnings up in Oklahoma, but there's severe thunderstorm warnings. So it looks like we got one tornado warning, but that was earlier maybe. I was up there in Oklahoma. It's up there in Kansas. But this is the one we're watching here down in our area. Severe weather moving through, or some thunderstorms moving through Frederick, just now moving through Vernon. Some of these storms could move up towards Lawton shortly. But the ones, again, we're watching is the ones down here. This is going to be moving into Wichita County soon. It is not as organized as it was. So that's good news. Funnel cloud has gone back up. Well, I've been watching this. It's reported that there was a funnel cloud with this storm, but I've been watching it the whole time. I have not seen a funnel cloud with this at all. So I don't know how much I believe that report. So I do appreciate you guys on TikTok watching me, and I'm trying to do for you guys on TikTok. I'm trying to do, I'm trying to watch storms, and I'm streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. You don't see my picture because TikTok won't let me use my same camera as I'm using on my other at this time, so you don't have it there. But if you want to find me, you can find me on YouTube and Facebook. I've also got my storm chaser over there on those too. So we're doing what we can here. Try to keep you informed here this afternoon in North Texas, Southern Oklahoma. The Weather Service appears to be concerned about this storm here now. So There's some storms developing southwest of Comanche that could hit you. Yes, not this particular one. This particular one, I believe, is headed more towards Wichita Falls um, than it is up towards Comanche. So if you're in Electra, or if you're in KMA, or you're in Holiday, if you're in Burt Burnett, Wichita Falls, expect severe weather here soon. This is a very, very dangerous thunderstorm. I'm trying to get stuff set up now because I got to go do weather here in just a second over on my 24/7 channel. This is moving right at Wichita Falls too. Guys, it couldn't have come at a worse time with basketball on. Because I try not to interrupt programming if I don't have to, but I may have to.
Still ahead on News Channel 6, we'll have details on a woman in Houston who is in critical condition after being stabbed by 2 children.
All right, the big storm moving into Wichita County. I would expect some warnings here soon. We're watching it closely. Hail is the main concern right now, but the conditions could be somewhat favorable for this to produce some spin-ups as it moves into Wichita Falls or Wichita County. It is moving towards Wichita Falls. I'll have the latest coming up here in just a second. Weatherman Cam is in the process of moving at this time, but we'll have him on here as we get into this here in just a second. So I'm monitoring the weather service. Tornado warning is coming here for this storm, so we're about to go tornado warning with it. So Priscilla, we're going to blow the rest of the newscast out. We've got tornado warning coming for this for Wichita County and stuff. So all weather from here on out. So this is going to make it difficult because we're going to have to cover basketball up too here in a minute. So Jacob, can you hear me up there?
Let me talk to Tom. Ken's want to talk to you. Can you turn on his mic? You're cute.
All right, so we've got a tornado warning coming for Wichita County here in just a moment. So we're going to stay on the 24/7 channel, but you'll have to listen to me for my cues because at some point we will have to go over the basketball game because it's going to head right at Wichita Falls, and we cannot afford to not be on with it. So.
Okay. He said if you could repeat that one more time.
Can you not hear me?
He said you were cut off.
All right. We got a tornado warning coming for Wichita Falls here, so we're going to have to cut in over News Channel 6. That's just all there is to it. Blow ahead and blow everything out at this point in time. You might could put the basketball game on in a small corner or something, but we got a tornado warning for our most populated county, and we got to be on with it. So you're going to have to go over News Channel 6 as well. I'll take the blame for all of it. So. All right, people. So, yep, right now. Blow everything out. So, for those of you that are watching me on social media, I've got to go to the wall. So it's going to be hard for me to do both of this because I cannot do Facebook from my computer right now. There's audio issues with it. So I'm having to do it this way, and you're just going to have to just bear with me. I've got a radar up. You'll probably be able to hear me. All right, so I do apologize. I do understand that we got the basketball game going on, but this is a serious situation that's developing here this afternoon. We have a tornado warning now that has been issued for southwestern parts of Wichita County. This also includes southeastern parts of Baylor and southeastern parts of Wilbarger and northeastern parts of Baylor County this afternoon here. This is a tornado warning. issued by the National Weather Service in Norman, Oklahoma. It's all weather. Everything else is gone. The reason why we've had some periodic wall clouds and we've had some periodic funnel clouds with this too reported. Now I've been watching the storm. Let me turn this off here. I've been watching the storm. I have not seen anything that appears to be tornadic to me with this yet. What's happening here with it? I'm gonna take my jacket off. What's happening here with this is, give me a second. And I do have a Facebook Live up and going, and if you guys and YouTube as well. But I'm not able to go audio-wise. I'm not able to go through the normal ways. So I'm having to use another microphone. So hopefully it picks up on me. But if it's a little bit low, you know why. So I'm gonna turn the levels up over there so you can hear me too. But we got this warning. This is a right-moving supercell, and it's moving right at Wichita Falls. So if you are in Wichita Falls at this hour, there's no warning here yet, and I don't know that it for sure will be a warning here, but we need to be prepared for that just in case. Right now, this is the storm that we're watching here. This is located. It's a big supercell thunderstorm. If you've been watching me on social media, we told you that the tornado threat was low, and it does remain somewhat low, but it's not at zero. So what we have going on here, this is a supercell thunderstorm. We don't have a lot of low-level moisture in place, but just enough to allow for some of the storm bases to get a little bit lower in the atmosphere. So we have mostly hail with this thunderstorm, south and east of Grayback, and south of Vernon, and south and southwest of Electra. And I do apologize for going over the basketball game. Jacob, if you want to, you can maybe get a split screen or maybe a little box we can put in the corner where people can watch the game that want to. And I know we have a lot of businesses in town that show the game today is important. I do understand that. But if I didn't feel it were urgent, I wouldn't be doing this. This is a serious situation here. You can see the almost donut. That's the rear flank downdraft is wrapping around this thunderstorm. Now I've got Cameron's storm chase feed up here, and I'm gonna go to it in just a moment. But I do not see a tornado with this at this time. I'm watching it close, but it is does have some rotation with it. This is the current velocity with it. Okay, and it is getting a little bit better, but the rotation is a little on the broad side still. This is not tightened up yet. But I think what's happened is the Weather Service has issued this warning because it's moving into a somewhat more favorable environment. And by somewhat more favorable environment, I mean that there's a little bit more in the way of wind shear that's over here in the Wichita County. What we look for in terms of wind shear, we want to look for low-level spin in the atmosphere, especially what's really important in tornado forecasting is what does the rotation look like beneath the cloud? What does it look like from the bottom layer of the cloud down to the Earth's surface? You got to have spin down there. You got to have some way for it to spin to reach the Earth's surface. Well, we do see that increasing over here in Wichita County some. You walk outside, it's very, very windy, and our winds are out of the south, southeast here at the station. You go up a lot, then they veer around, so it creates this spin in the atmosphere. We never doubted the wind shear. We always knew the wind shear was going to be ideal here for this kind of activity here today. I mean, it couldn't be much better than it is, honestly. The problem with what we were forecasting today is what we call a lack of low-level moisture or a lack of better instability. And to get these supercells to produce tornadoes, they have to be surface-based. And this is surface-based, but it still could be hard for that to stretch down to the Earth's surface. Because they don't have a tremendous amount of moisture, but it is moistening up quickly. Our dew points are rising down to the upper 50s. That might be just enough to do. So what I want to do is now, Cameron, you're going to have to move the camera around as you're driving, or maybe to pull over here if you can, because it looks like you don't quite have the shot we need. Do you see a wall cloud? Maybe you should pull over for a second so we can see what you're looking at for this tornado warning. Pop them up in for me.
Right now, and I'm pulling over right now, so I can get you a better shot. But I don't have any visual of any sort of like that as I am out southeast of the storm, and I'm trying to get to a path where I can start to cut north. When I can cut north, I can see well into the storm. I can really see ground truth as to what the storm is doing. So we are about 2 miles away from making this northward turn right
giving us the visual that we need. You're all over the place. So go back to the left a little bit. I would think that that's the area. Go down. You're up too high. Go down. We need, yeah, there we go. There we go. Now go to the left a little bit. I believe that that's what we want to look at. I believe that you got the flat, and I could be wrong. You tell me, Cameron. Is that the updraft base over there on the left? There you go. That's the shot I want. You just had it. Cameron, can you hear me? I don't think that you got the shot that we needed this time. I believe you're looking at the wrong part of the storm, but I don't know. I need you to give me some type of confirmation on what you're seeing here, because just from my vantage point, it's hard to tell. That's the shot we need there. All right, so what we're seeing is, and I'm going to walk over here on the board. Keep the tracker feed up if you could. We'll walk on the board. Have me over it though, if you could, Jacob. So what we're looking at here, this is your supercell thunderstorm. You can see the flat updraft base with it. You can see, can we go with me on the board over this? I'm not sure that we can do that. But if you take a look here, that's the flat updraft base with it. You can see what we call the RFD trying to wrap around it here. Can you put the tracker feed behind me here, please, if you could, over this way? I want to go full tracker feed if we can. Not the burning sound. There we go. Cameron, let's bring me. I'm gonna bring you up here at this time. I was gonna try to show people what we were looking at there, but can you explain to everybody? It looks like we got the RFD there trying to wrap around it at this time. I don't really see a big wall cloud, but it could be wrapped in rain. What do you see from your vantage point? No, I don't hear Cameron.
Someone is.
Repeat what you said.
Southeast. Mic check. Mic check.
Okay, I can hear you. You're good. You're good. Go.
Mic check.
Cameron, I can hear you.
Mic check.
All right, just come back to me. Cameron's having some audio issues there, so let's just come back over here on to the radar if we could. And there is your latest velocity. I still do not see anything in here that looks to me like this is about to put anything down. Okay, I've got his feet up on the screen over there. I can see it just fine, but you got broad rotation in this area here that's just barely a hair west of the Wichita and Will Barker County line here. And so this is Cadane Corner. There's your warning. This is Iowa Park. This is going to go south. You know, every warning anyway is going south of Electra. But this is moving east in the southwestern parts of Wichita County. That's where the rotation is going to go. Now, I don't know that this is going to go down into Archer County. I think that the spin is close. That's why the warning is in effect there. But it looks to me like the spin is going to go here in southwestern Wichita County, right at Cadane Corner. Again, as of right now, this is not producing the tornado. We can go back to the storm feed, the Comanche Nation Air Temperature First Alert Storm Tracker, and it looks like Cameron's on the move again. So yes, you've got to keep up with these storms. You've got to stay out ahead of them, and you know when they're moving this fast, it's really, really difficult to do that. But you can see the feed. He's got a nice little picture there back. I do not see anything that looks like this is even producing a wall cloud. What I do see is, though, it looks like if there is a wall cloud here, it's probably wrapped in rain. I can see what's called the RFD, or the rear flank downdraft. And that's that kind of cloud you see kind of hanging down the backside of the mesocyclone. Now, as that begins to rotate around it, sometimes that kind of, it cuts into the wall cloud and it starts to circling around it. And oftentimes, if conditions are just right, that's what helps produce the lower pressures that can help produce a tornado. But right now, it just doesn't look like there's any big-time wall cloud with it, at least from this vantage point. But if you notice that flat cloud there, that is the updraft base. So what's happening is that updraft base is being fed the energy in the atmosphere. What little we've been able to muster up, you got the K, the convective available potential energy. The potential energy that's out there feeding through the updraft, that's feeding the thunderstorm. So you got that coming in from one direction, and then you got some cooler air that's kind of around that warm air that's flowing into the storm. It's these different contrasting temperatures that create that low-hanging wall cloud, or it helps create lower pressure, and you begin to see a bit of a descending motion with the cloud and the thunderstorm itself. So we do see that. I do see what looks like maybe a bit of a wall cloud. It's probably kind of shrouded in rain. So we're going to go back over to the radar at this point in time, and we'll go back to that. So we got really strong
That's the green, the little light green color you see there flowing into the storm. And these would be the RFD, or the rear flank downdraft winds you see here on the back side of it. These are not particularly strong. That's a good thing. You don't want these. These can start getting stronger. It indicates the spinning storm is getting stronger. We do have strong inflow into it. We don't have a lot of push. We don't have significant push on the back side. So as of right now, this is not trying to produce a tornado. We can go back to Cameron and the storm tracker. He's got a good view of it there. It looks like there's a pretty good wall cloud there on it, but again, he's trying to kind of maneuver and trying to stay out ahead of the storm. And it can be, when they're moving this fast, it can be real difficult. This storm is moving very, very fast off to almost due east now. It's a right mover. So let's go back over to the radar if we could.
And again, I do not see anything that represents a tornadic signature in this thunderstorm at this point in time. It does have a hook on it, and in addition to this tornado warning, this is also going to produce some hail, and that may wind up being our bigger threat with it at this point in time. Looks like we got some hail falling from this thunderstorm, perhaps from maybe around the let's see here. We got hail in the thunderstorm that's up towards perhaps right at 287. That's where the hail is. Looks like I've got a picture here. I'm not sure where that is. That was up in Oklahoma. That was a big old funnel cloud up there. But we do got some hail showing up in this thunderstorm here. Most of it looks pretty small. You got your hook there just barely west of Cadane Corner. The hail mostly small, headed right at 287, and we can put a motion on this here. And that hail is moving due east, and it's moving right kind of at 287 in Iowa Park. Most of the hail, again, is small with this storm, not very large, but some of this hail is going to head right at Wichita Falls here pretty soon. The storm itself, honestly, does not look as well organized as it did, at least from what we call a reflectivity standpoint. Looking at velocities here, trying to keep an eye on that. Still see some pretty strong inflow into it, but nothing strong as far as outflow winds go. Now, I do understand that we are interrupting the basketball games, and I know a lot of people have interest in those, and I do apologize, but this is a potential, anyway, life or death type of situation. This is moving into a very populated area, so we have to be on with this to make sure our viewers are informed and stay safe when these storms are threatened. Now, we do have the 24/7 channel. I was hoping to do all my coverage over there on it. I swore I was not cutting into CBS today, but unfortunately I had to, and believe me, I will be off as soon as I can. I promise you I will. So, if you could just give me just a little while longer, we'll jump off when we can and go back to basketball. But we got to keep an eye on this thunderstorm. The good news is, nothing is showing that it's about to produce a tornado, but we probably are going to have some sirens sounding, and we don't have a warning out for Wichita County here at this time. So that is, I'm reading the weather service here. Looks like around 6:40, this storm will be here around 6:40 into Wichita Falls. So just stay weather informed into Wichita Falls now. We're getting close to 6 o'clock. The moisture content's trying to get a little bit better in the storm. It is trying to go a little bit more. It's trying to merge with some storms to the east, so that may wind up that could wind up hurting it some. These are going to be rain wrapped. These are not going to be your classic photogenic supercells. These are rain wrapped thunderstorms. Precipitation is wrapping around the mesocyclone, so that's going to make anything we see wrapped in rain. There's other storms up into Oklahoma. Those are not severe at this time. As a matter of fact, we can kind of widen this. And only storms that we see, this is really the strongest storm in town right here, really this one here. So despite the fact we don't have real favorable low-level moisture in place, it's getting a little bit better, and that's allowed for the storm to perhaps maybe intensify just a little bit here today, but this evening. But so far, the storm is not doing anything or misbehaving, which is good news. I do see on the velocities for some attempt anyway for it to kind of bow out a little bit. You can really see the spin here on the radar. So I'm going to walk back over to the wall and kind of explain to you what you see here with this. This is showing the wind direction and speed. The green color represents winds blowing up towards the radar. The radar site is in greater Oklahoma, and the green show the winds blowing towards the storm. This will be your inflow here. On the back side, this is your rear flank downdraft. You got to watch the rear flank downdraft. That's a real important part of the thunderstorm in terms of anything tornadic. Okay. So what happens
the thunderstorm that's, this big thunderstorm, and the winds in the mid-levels of the thunderstorm begin to descend down the backside of it. You got these different pressures in the thunderstorms, and then the winds of the backside cause those winds to descend down the backside of it. And as it does so, since the storm is rotating, it causes those winds to whip around the backside of it. So it's called the rear flank downdraft. It can be, I know this is where it gets confusing, it's very, very confusing. This is new science we're studying. The RFD can be associated with two types of things. It can be either a cold RFD, which typically weakens the mesocyclone or weakens or prevents the tornado from developing. But if it's a warmer RFD, we're talking about the temperatures are a bit warmer associated with that, and begins to wrap around it, that can actually lower the pressure in the storm, and that can cause for it to produce a tornado. So a lot of research is being done with that. The rear flank downdraft, if it cuts in and wraps around and begins to team up with that warm air flowing in, that's when you have to worry. All right, so I'm going to go back to Comanche Nation Entertainment First Alert Storm Tracker. Cameron, looks like you've got a big shelf, but that could be associated with the RFD. Hard to tell. You got any discernible wall cloud? Looks like whatever it is would probably be wrapping rain. What are you seeing from your vantage point?
All right, Ken. This looks like it is part of the RFD. I cannot see any form of wall cloud, and like I said, it's because it is rain. Right? If you look past the lowering the RFD, you cannot see past it because this thing is absolutely drenched
Ken,
with rain.
Jacob said that the board is broken, so they can't put you in front of the
The what is?
the board.
Okay.
They're not able to.
That's fine.
I'll keep you updated. I'll give you guys if I do see any type of discernible wall cloud, any type of escape region with this storm, but right now we'll actually get to the RFD and let's see how this one plays out.
Yeah, it's pretty. I would definitely want to continue to watch it closely, but that definitely looks like. I'm looking at the radar. So if we could go double screen with the Comanche Nation Entertainment Storm Tracker and the radar there, that'd be great. So I'm going to show you what I'm seeing on the radar here, as opposed to what you're seeing there with the live tracker feed. So if you look here on the radar, notice how this would be the winds. This is going to be that low hanging cloud you see there, right there in the screen. Okay, this is that wind coming around the back side of here. Okay, that's going in, that's going out here. There's your updraft right in that area. That's your circulation. That's where everything's trying to spin around. This indicates to me that this is probably going to be rain cool air. So it's pretty strong at this point in time. You got the winds flowing in. So what we have to watch for is if that cloud you see hanging down there, that is not a tornado, by the way. That's going to be that RFD punching down. It's air descending out of the cloud. Okay. So what happens is that can wrap back around and kind of wrap into it, kind of wrap around the updraft, the rotating updraft. Then we have to start worrying about it producing a tornado. Now over here, Iowa Park, Holiday, Wichita Falls, you got a little bit more wind shear over here. That means the wind from the bottom layer of this cloud here down the Earth's surface. You got this change in wind direction. You got a really strong change in wind direction. You got a real strong wind there too. So what that's doing is creating a bit of vorticity or spin beneath the cloud down to the Earth's surface. So as it encounters some better moisture and is trying to get there now, you might have to worry about this a little bit more. As far as the tracker feed goes, don't see any discernible wall cloud with it at this time. But it's hard to tell because this is so wrapped in rain. So this is all wrapped in rain. You just have to really keep an eye on this. The good news is I've seen these things so many times. I really know what to look for when this thing is ready to produce something. Right now, I can't say that it is, but we'll have to just kind of monitor it with each scan that goes through here. Cameron, I just kind of explained the RFD a little bit there from my vantage point. Go full screen with Cameron, and Cameron, that's a really nasty looking cloud, but it almost looks like that might be becoming maybe outflow dominant. Maybe.
Yeah, then I would have to agree. Right now, what I'm at looking due north, and it almost looks like the RFD is kind of starting to choke off some of the air that could be flowing through this storm. And on that right now, winds are coming almost out of the due west at this time, which is
All right, so the Weather Service is not going to issue a tornado warning for Wichita Falls. They're kind of observing what we're observing. It's called, they classify it as a wet RFD. And really strong winds with that wet RFD. But we got hail threats moving into Wichita Falls. They're going to continue with the tornado possible tag. But as of right now, no tornado warning coming for Wichita Falls. We'll have to keep a close eye on it and make sure this thing doesn't begin to try to wrap back up. Now, Cameron, I've seen, and we can go back to the radar here. I've seen these things before where they start to look like they're becoming outflow dominant. And what happens is, and it kind of does at least on one side. What happens is oftentimes you'll start to see a little bit of this air, this getting pushed out, get sucked back into the thunderstorm itself here, and then sometimes you can still get tornadoes with that. So we're not ready to say and give it the all clear yet. I can really see, you can see that updraft, you can see the donut shape of it here. But there's your push outward, and you can always see it buckling and pushing the wind. It's really cutting the inflow off at this point in time. Remember, to get a tornado, you have to have winds in opposite direction. You have to have different temperature, different temperatures going in and out of the storm. Looks like we do got go back to the storm tracker if we could. Looks like we do got a wall cloud there. Cameron, looks like we got a wall cloud there. That's a big one. Is that right?
Yeah, and I'm a little bit further into the storm now, so I'm kind of passing the outer bands of the light moving out that way and making it so the storm does rapidly. Looks like there might be wall cloud that you're pointing at right now with the camera. I don't see any funnels coming down out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to tell. Once again, this camera will tell me if this is part of the RFP, but it is hard to tell.
Cameron, I really don't see a funnel with it, but I do see what looks like a wall cloud there, with pretty blocky there in the middle too. It has some pretty strong RFD with it, really strong RFD on the backside with the latest update there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some really strong winds coming around the backside of that. And that wall cloud is looking it looks like it's becoming very, very well developed. So I'm a little bit more concerned about the fact that the RFD is trying to strengthen some. Just when you think it looks like it's trying to get a little more developed, it kind of doesn't. So does it look like it's rotating into you out there from your vantage point?
Definitely got some rotation on it. It doesn't look like it's a rapid rotation, but there is some decent rotation on this thing right now.
Yeah, I don't see rapidly, like you say, low up. It looks like you can almost see a clear slot there. So it almost looks like the RFD may have cleared out some. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Let's go back over to the radar if we could. I still think this is mostly kind of a push of air out as of this time right now. And just to keep our people up to date, I know that we have basketball going on right now. I know we do, and I do apologize. And if this weren't a serious situation, I would not be covering up the basketball game. I told my wife before I left today, there's no way I'm covering up basketball today. No way I'm cutting on News Channel 6, and here I am. It just happened, and I know a lot of you are not happy about it, but we've got to keep an eye on these storms. I promise you I will jump off as soon as I can. I promise you that I will. We're also, in addition to the wind and the thunderstorm, we do got some hail that's about to move over Iowa Park shortly. It looks like the hail is mostly going to be small, but there could be some nickels in that too. So keep an eye on that. Now I am on Facebook Live at this time. The live broadcast itself is not on Facebook. I'm doing this basically through my computer and my equipment here. But I am on Facebook Live. I am on YouTube, and I'm actually on TikTok too at this point in time. And TikTok is a little bit different because I don't have a camera up there on it, and I've actually turned my camera on my stream there. My stream that's coming from. I'm using a program that's called Streamlabs, and I've actually got the Storm Chaser feed up there too, in addition to the radar. Let's go back over to Cameron. Cameron, it looks like a really low-hanging wall cloud you got there. Is that what that is, or is that a shelf? Tell us what you're seeing.
Yeah, I think as far as RFD, it's continuing to surge southward. It's surging southward quickly. It's definitely got some rotation. It has some bit of let's say a blip in my eyes. It's a bit of a rolling motion associated with this thing. We're starting to get some rain. I'm watching this thing say much deeper and getting lower. If you look at radar, it almost looks like this cluster of RFD is giving another bit
And Weatherman Jay just showed up. Glad to see you here this afternoon, this Sunday afternoon here. Cameron, we got, Jaden, we got some severe weather ongoing here. We got this tornado warning that got issued a little while ago. Tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire, but we got some severe thunderstorm warnings now for Wichita Falls, and you see Priscilla Mesa there crossing the screen. But we got some severe thunderstorm warnings, mostly for hail, and we got Cameron out there watching the storm closely. But, we've really never seen anything on the storm that really suggested it was about to produce a tornado. But the Weather Service did issue the warning and did say that, we need to keep a close eye on this. And I agree, we do need to. Atmospheric conditions aren't just overly favorable, but this is moving into our most populated area. So that's why we are, staying on here, and we're kind of keeping the, while we're not doing, we're over the basketball game at this point in time. I'll go back to basketball as soon as I can. I promise you I will. But as of right now, this is mostly a hail producer, but it still has a little bit of rotation with it. But mostly what we're seeing is just some strong wind gusts there into this point in time. I'm not comfortable enough at this point in time to sound the all clear for Wichita Falls and for Iowa Park and for the Shepherd Air Force Base. I'm not comfortable to do that. I'm not comfortable to go back to basketball just yet, because these thunderstorms, they have a way of recycling. They have a way of reorganizing. And oftentimes when they do that, they can produce, sometimes that's when they produce. I don't think that there is going to be at least for right now, there is not a tornado warning, but we do have hail showing up there into Iowa Park, and some hail into moving due east and right basically over Buffalo Creek reservoirs where the hail is. Most of the hail appears to be fairly small, but I still think that it could increase in size a bit, so we'll just keep an eye on that. Let me see if there's any new updates here on the velocity scans. I really don't see anything new there that really looks all that concerning. In fact, it's kind of at least from an organizational standpoint, it's kind of falling apart a bit. So that's good news. That's definitely some very, very good news as it moves east. So with the storm, we've seen wall clouds. I have not seen a funnel. It was reported that there was a funnel cloud with it, but I never saw one. I had a good view of it. I never saw one. But Jaden, oftentimes with these storms, you'll get a lot of low-hanging clouds with them, and people will mistake them for wall clouds. Let me go back over to Weatherman Cam. Cameron is, of course, looks like he's trying to get himself situated. Bless his heart, he's out there doing it all by himself, and it's hard to do this stuff by yourself sometimes. So, Cameron, if you can hear me, what are you seeing from your vantage point at this point in time? It looks like a wall cloud in there, but is that a wall cloud, or is that just the shelf cloud we've been looking at? Yeah, it's moving right at Wichita Falls right now. So it's moving right at the falls. I don't know that it's going to produce. I'm looking at, Cameron, I'm looking at 0 to 1 kilometer storm relative velocities, and they're really strong. They're in the 250 to 300 range. So it probably would not take much, honestly, to spin this thing down with that type of shear. But the good news is we just don't have a lot in the way of storm energy out there, which is definitely the limiting factor here, which is good news, because if I think we had more Cape value this afternoon, it would be a whole lot worse. So far so good, but I'm not ready to sound the all clear. Now, this is not a situation where we're under any type of tornado warnings in Wichita Falls at this hour, but the storm is still got some spin in it. And it's very, very, very close to the area here. So looks like, I'm looking at a picture. This is actually sent to me from Garrett James here, and there was a bit of a funnel cloud with it, but it was kind of wrapped in rain. I do see that now. That was from, Cal Guthrie. Cal Guthrie's actually a pretty good storm chaser. So, but it was kind of wrapped in rain, so it's kind of hard to see. But there was a funnel, but it was just like I say, it was way up high and never did make it down to the Earth's surface. But there's still a bit of rotation with this, very very weak, very broad near Iowa Park. It has not reorganized yet. We'll have to keep an eye and make sure it doesn't reorganize. As of right now, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But at least from what we call a reflectivity standpoint, it still has a hook on it. It still looks pretty impressive here. So. I need to open up my email so I can get a control of my tower cam. I'm going to go to my Wichita Falls tower cam located on the southeast side of the city. I'm going to try to pop that up real fast. So I'm not sure which direction it's sitting in. I may have to wind up turning it some. But it's kind of looking to the north of us. You can see from Wichita Falls, again, this is our tower cam from the southeast side of the city. This is looking north. You can see the gray-looking area, which would represent the heavy rain shaft that's looking north into the storm. So that's not anything to be too concerned with there. We want to kind of go back and look at the left if we could. That's the area most of concern. Most of what I'm seeing right now, though, with this, at least from not only from a radar standpoint, but also from the tracker standpoint, it's just a lot of disorganization with it. Maybe some strong outflow winds, but I just don't see any discernible wall cloud in that, which is definitely, good news. We don't want wall clouds. That's what can potentially produce tornadoes. So we don't really want that. So that's good news. I got the on our stream up. Remember, I'm on my Facebook. I'm on the News Channel 6 Facebook page as well as my YouTube page. I've actually got a TikTok up and going, but I'm just basically running radar from there. I'm not running any type of camera, just radar and the audio is all you get from that. So I'm about to try to pull my tower cam. I think I got my tower cam almost up here. See, Skycam Weather 1. I have to remember I just forget all the passwords. We got so many passwords we have to remember these days that I just have a hard time remembering them. You can ask my wife. I don't lose my keys if I didn't know where they were at. So I do got my tower cam up. I'm going to show you this. I'm about to pull it up. You can see it there from this vantage point. So if you look here, really hard to tell because the storm is kind of rapid this afternoon. But you do got some flow into this. Is actually going to be storm chasers call this a fever tail or storm spotters, storm chasers. This is warm, moist air, or what little instability that we have in the atmosphere is getting pumped in. It comes from this direction, and then it gets here and it lifts up into the storm. Okay. If you look hard to say, but it looks like that might be a wall cloud there, maybe kind of up towards Iowa Park, maybe. And this could be the rear flank downdraft back in this area, but very difficult to tell, really what's going on. But you look for your wall cloud right now. What you want to look for is the different temperatures and the different wind directions. And this shows the winds, the warm air going into the storm, and there's some cooler thunderstorm air perhaps coming on the backside. Looks like there's a bit of a ragged wall cloud right there. Cameron, I believe I see a little wall cloud on the tower cam here. What do you see from your vantage point? Looks like there's some low-hanging clouds in there anyway. What are you seeing there, sir?
Yeah, and what you're looking at right now is all just RFD. We're on 277 east and going towards just 3 miles outside of Holiday. We're going to try to get back into Wichita Falls.
Pea-size hill, Iowa Park.
See if there's a wall cloud. I heard you talk about that wall cloud on the tower. I thought we saw a bit of a wall cloud. Right now, I don't have anything except for RFD on the campus.
Yeah.
I'll get back in a position here. I'm a little behind in still, but I'm catching up.
All right, well, you just go catch up. Let's go back over to our tower cam here from the south. Again, the tower cam located on the south east side of town. And there's probably your wall cloud here. So what's happened is the thunderstorm has just kind of cycled and has recycled and whatnot. So and kind of changed position. So the rotation of the storm actually has redeveloped further north, closer to Iowa Park. So we're going to continue to watch that part of the storm. We do got some reports of pea-size hail at this time
in Iowa Park for this particular storm. So we're back over to the radar here. At least P to nickel size hail. The storm is moving more east now, and the hail part of the thunderstorm is going to cross Interstate 44 shortly, right along 287 44, headed right at the Shepherd Air Force Base. The hail is going to pass just south of Burt Burnett, and it looks like the hail core is right along the Witchita River. Whatever little rotation that we may see in the thunderstorm, and there is some in there, and it looks like it might be trying to wrap up a little bit more, it's going to move right over the heart of the city. It's actually going to move just north of the station a bit. So I'm going to go back over here on the radar. Cameron, Jaden, I want you to continue to monitor what's going on with Cameron and his feed there, and I'm going to let you toss over to him in just a minute. But over on the radar, this thing has really been trying to recycle for a while now. You've got these are your winds pushing out from the storm. But if you look at here, we finally do got some winds ramping up in here, blowing into. There's your inflow into it. It's kind of messy on the back side of it here, but we do got a little bit of pushable. So storm has reorganized itself right over Iowa Park. It's moving so quickly. It's probably now east of Iowa Park. This is moving right along 287 and moving right at the north, basically paralleling the Wichita River at this point in time. So we're keeping an eye on the downtown Wichita Falls area. This is not producing a tornado at this time, but we really need to keep a close eye on it to make sure that you don't see this stuff start to do that, start to wrap around back into each other. So we need to do a good job of just keeping an eye on that. Jay, let's go back to my power cam if we could. Let's pull that up here. And of course, I got Cameron's feed up with my cam there on the storm tracker. I got it there. It is. So if you look here, there is our wall cloud, pretty big wall cloud. I want to try. Let me see something here, Cameron. Okay, I got to zoom in a little bit closer. I want to get a better view of that wall cloud from our Wichita Falls tower cam. This is a pretty low hanging wall cloud at that. It's kind of shrouded, kind of in some rain, so it's real difficult to tell exactly what it is doing at this point in time. But if you notice that blocky feature there with this storm, that is our wall cloud at this point in time. It's kind of, like I say, kind of hard to say exactly what it's doing. Really impressive whole hail signature over Iowa Park. So it looks like the hail sides are probably going larger with this. Looks like at least half-inch hail in Iowa Park short time ago. So we are seeing some pretty significant hail now starting to be generated from the thunderstorm. Kind of getting generated from the storm at this point in time. The hail is actually going to be just north of the wall cloud. So the wall cloud forms underneath the updraft. Remember, the updraft, you got a lot of rising motion in here. And then you've got your rear flake downdraft that tries to wrap around it. Where you get these two contrasting, there's your inflow into it in this area, right in this area. You've actually got what's called the forward flank downdraft over here too. That also produces some different temperature contours. It's a difference in temperatures that create the pressure, and it creates low pressure. So when that happens, you do get the spin in the thunderstorm. You get this wall cloud. It's a pretty large wall cloud. At this point in time, though, you see holes in it, so it's not super organized, but it is certainly there. And if this thing can start to wrap up and tighten up, then you could see something that could try to come out of this. So if we're looking at this, this is going to be just north of 287. This is very, very close to, or just east of Iowa Park now. If you do the configuration in your head, you can kind of think about what's along out there. Iowa Park. Once you get east of Iowa Park, you get east of Lake Gordon, and you go right along 287, and then you head that Walmart is sitting over here. So that wall cloud is very close to the Walmart there, located on the north side. It's called the Burt Burnett Walmart, but it's really just the Walmart there on the north side of Wichita Falls, and that's where this wall cloud is located. It's a very large wall cloud, but nothing that appears to be super tight at this point in time. This is mostly a hail producer, but there is some rotation in it. If we go back over to the radar, Jay, you can just pop that back up here if we could, and put the kind of zoom back in there, Wichita Falls, and put the velocity, stop it from moving, and then put the velocities on. And let's take a look. There's actually some pretty big hail, and the rotation is definitely getting better organized. So you've
you got the strong inflow in here now. There's your rear flank downdraft trying to wrap into the backside of it. It's not super tight just yet. I wouldn't be surprised if this continues for a new warning to be issued here shortly for Wichita Falls. You do see the rotation in here. It's a lot. You see the strong inflow in. You've got some pretty strong RFD winds in here as well. So if you live anywhere along 287 and into the northwest side of Wichita Falls, I'm making city here. We're talking about the northern part of Wichita Falls, up there close to Hershey High School, or just north of Hershey High School, very close to that area. Then you go out to the Shepherd Air Force Base. Trying to think about some more locations that are up in this area here. But if you live over towards the Shepherd Air Force Base, keep an eye on some good dewies. Now, from the south side of Wichita Falls, skies are getting dark, but nothing as far as a tornado goes here. The rotation of the storm is going to miss you. Southwest Parkway, you're fine. Lakeside City, Holiday, you're okay. But if you are along 287 and you're downtown Wichita Falls or north of there, Shepherd Air Force Base, we're talking about well south of Urban, it's going well south of there. Keep an eye on this. You've got rotation, it has not tightened up yet, but it's in a favorable environment for it to do so. Remember, I said the tornado threat was not to zero today, and this is the not zero part. It hasn't produced anything yet, but when you go back over to the tower cam, I can show you what we got going on at this time. So Jake's trying to pop that back up for me. I'm going to move this. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a show you.
$half size.
So we got some $half size hail with it. Not surprised by that at all. But at least looking from this vantage point, Jaden, very, very disorganized wall cloud. I don't see anything that looks super ominous, but it is kind of wrapped in rain, so it's very, very difficult to tell.
Now, a minute ago on Cameron's feed, it looked like it was reorganizing, but now, since he's gone, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's hard. I know he's trying to reposition himself at this point in time, so it's real hard for us to tell what he has on his feed. And at least from our tower cam standpoint, this storm is very much wrapped in rain here at this time. Now, I want to remind our viewers here that are watching this, we do have a stream up on Facebook and YouTube. I also got something up on TikTok as well, but the TikTok feed is just basically radar and audio. I'm looking at the reflectivity, and that there's got to be some decent size hail in this showing up. And as you said, there was at least some quarter size hail reported into this a while ago, and it could be even a larger than that. But strong inflow into the thunderstorm. Latest update, it remains. Wow, it's just that wall cloud is trying to get lower in there. It really is, Jaden. So I'm gonna try to go do a little street level stuff here. I'm gonna go back over to our radar, and we're going to do a little street level, go down, trying to talk to people what they're seeing. It really helps to be able to look at velocities. That really helps us as meteorologists be able to determine what we're seeing here. But that is some pretty strong rotation in there, Jaden. You don't see a real tight, what we call couplet yet. You don't see what's considered to be strong gate-to-gate shear. They continue to just tornado possible tag with that. So golf ball size hail is possible with this, especially kind of between the north side of Wichita Falls and the Shepherd and Burknett. If you are over into the Shepherd Air Force Base, some of that hail could be impacting you close to the municipal airport, those areas which are east of the city. So this is Wichita Falls. Jay, you probably can walk outside and look at see if you see anything, but this is just right outside of the station. There's the Wichita River. Remember, this is moving quickly, so our rotation is probably getting closer to Seymour Highway. So there is what would be considered Northwest Freeway, the Pleasant Valley. City View is up into this area as well. There is Kell Boulevard. Our TV station is kind of right over in this area here somewhere. So that one, and you got Canyon Trails, and you got Tanglewood over here too. So the rotation is very close to these areas. So if you live in these areas, you can watch me. You know that I'm going to tell you if you need to be super concerned. Right now, we're just watching it. We're watching it and making sure it doesn't do anything it's not supposed to. Let's go back to Cameron. Cameron, you're in the tracker. Looks like you've caught back up with the storm. What are you seeing?
Yeah, okay, right now I am about 5 miles southwest of downtown Wichita Falls, so we are just south of that center of location. So I'm watching to see if there's any type of sign that indicates
All right, yeah, you can definitely see a wall cloud in there. Let's go back over to the computer if we could, and you can really see. It's hard to see it because there's so much rain. The way the sun is indicating, there's a lot of contrast going on. But this is our wall cloud in here. There is the rotation there. You can see that kind of some warm, moist air kind of beating around. This would be your RFD up here wrapping around the thunderstorm some. So, and there's your wall cloud right in there. Pretty low hanging over the, oh man, it's real hard to tell exactly where it's You saw some rotation. Is it pretty low to the ground?
It started lower right now.
All right, so that was
It's a nice defined wall cloud up here.
How far away from the station would you say it was?
Man, I'd say about 15 miles. It's pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. Okay. All right, so we're watching. This is the RFD wrapping into it. You got your inflow around this area here. I'm trying to look. You see some lowerings in here, but nothing that looks super ominous at this point in time. I don't see any funnels here, but there that is wrapping around pretty significantly. That's the area. That's that RFD wrapping around it over here. So you can see the rotation here from this vantage point, and it looks like you might have a little funnel trying to come down. This is what you look for. You watch these areas here closely, and there it is. You can see it all wrapped around. That's your rear flank downdraft coming from the backside, and we have a bit of a lowering right in there, and it looks like that lowering perhaps is just a hair north of Seymour Highway, just a hair north of it. But as soon as it tries, you can see it just really kind of falls apart. But that's that rotation. You can really see the rotation, your inflow over into this area, and this is what we call RFD occlusion is what it's called. Occlusion just basically means it's neither warm nor cold. When that happens, you really got to start watching these things pretty closely. That is a pretty mean wall cloud, some pretty significant rotation in there with it. Nothing that's touching down at this point in time. This is very close to downtown Wichita Falls, just barely northwest of Wichita Falls is what we're looking at this point in time. Jay, pull my radar back up for me. I want to look at this quickly here. I got Cameron's speed still up, but Cameron's trying to get situated here. Go back down. Let's pull velocities up quickly. This is coming in, closing in quickly here. The good news is, at least on this vantage point, from this radar vantage point, the rotation is broad. It is not gate to gate. It is not tight. This confirms what we saw just now. You got really strong winds. You got the RFD, but you got to watch this. You got to watch and make sure these are dancing around each other, and it is trying to. It's got a lot of spin over this area, and we're moistening up a little bit now. So even on these low tornado days, you can still get them. This is going to be good news as long as it can make it through the city without touching down. So there is the latest update there on the radar. You got some really strong or some increasing RFD winds here, and you still got the winds blowing back. There's a little bit of some gate-to-gate shear in this area near 9th Street, but that could be just some different wind motions. I don't think that's a tornado, but let's go back to that tower cam if we could, our tower cam shot, David, so we can take a look at that. We don't get them like this too often here in Wichita Falls. They usually stay away from us, but always a very concerning situation when you see these types of situations. And I do realize that you're probably tuning in to watch basketball. I like to watch it too, and I didn't want to interrupt it, but unfortunately we had to. If you notice here, look at the white in the clouds here. That's representing your hail. So there's some pretty significant hail coming down with this too. That may want to be our biggest threat is the hail. There's a ragged, kind of ragged wall cloud, if you will, over in this area here, but nothing that looks like it is trying to come down. We've had some attempts for it to lower. It's attempted to, but it has not succeeded, which is definitely some good news. But you got to watch these things and make sure that it doesn't wrap back up as it moves over basically the northern side of Wichita Falls. There's some lightning that just popped up there. So, I hear hail here.
Penny-sized hail right now reported.
What size hail is outside?
That's Nichols now. It's Nichols now.
So, yeah, that's not P-side. I don't think that's P-side. I think that's some pretty good hailstones there at this time. So, go look and tell me what you see as far as that goes. So, we got hail here at the station. It sounds. Of course, it's on the tin roof. It may not be that large, but it sounds pretty large. At least from a reflectivity standpoint, storm is not as organized as it was. I'm going to walk back over onto the wall here. We've got some hill that we right over here. That's actually at Wichita Falls. So if you're looking downtown Wichita Falls, the circulation, there's your upgrades
Yeah, it is.
Hear the hail. It is beating this. It is beating us up here pretty significantly. The it looks like we got nickels and quarters over the northern side of Wichita Falls, and it is a lot of hail outside here, folks. Very difficult to hear at this time. The good news is the rotation, while it is still there, it remains broad. It is not a very large, not a real tight rotation. But it can still spin back up, especially as it gets over into Clay County. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. So that is, it's good news that this is just, how big? All right. So I'm going to walk back over here. Oh, yeah, that's probably, I would say, nickel size. Yeah, that's nickel to quarter size hail here is what we got. And it sounds like it stopped. It doesn't sound like it was even raining much. It sounds like it was mostly just hail here. I couldn't even, Jaden, I couldn't even hear for a minute there.
I couldn't either.
That was loud, man. That was super loud. So, yeah, we got about, this is definitely some quarter-size hail here in my hand. Trying to zoom this out a bit. Oh, boy, it is coming down out there. And there's your hail core. You can see the whiteness in that. That's the hail that's coming down out of the thunderstorm. At this point in time, it's very difficult to be able to see any type of wall cloud that would be in this broad rotation here at this hour. But you can look here. This is the size of the hail we got here at the station here. Nickel, maybe quarters, melted some, so maybe some quarter size hail. But it was a lot of it. It came down. It was heavy. It was loud here for just a minute.
It was. It was.
All right, let's check back in with Cam real fast. Cameron, we just got a lot of hail here at the station. Where are you at, and what is your plan at this point in time?
Oh yeah, I heard that hill coming through my I am in downtown Wichita Falls, and Jesus, my goodness.
Yeah, just got to keep an eye on it. But we can see new, going over the radar, there's new warnings out. This would include Clay County. This is Petrolia, Charlie, Dean, Jolly, and just north of Henrietta. Now, there's also another storm that's formed on what we call the rear front, the flank, it's called a flanking storm. This is formed on the downwind flank of the main supercell here. Now, this, as of right now, is not severe. You'll have to watch and make sure these updrafts don't get a little bit stronger. It's still feeding the moist air, which is untouched down here in Archer and Clay County, is still feeding that thunderstorm too. So this one too could begin to ramp up. But as that moves across Wichita Falls, that might even include maybe some of the southern part of the city here. It could produce some small hail. We'll see if the hail size has increased with that even. But for now, hail threats. It should be some pretty decent hail, at least quarter size, nickel to quarter size hail. It could be a good bit of it over the Shepherd Air Force Base. This is well south of Birkenhead. It's south of the Wichita, south of the Red River here. This is going to be kind of over the eastern part. Southeast of Kickapoo, you're fine. Let's look at velocities real fast and make sure that hasn't changed any. They're still there. Zoom in a little closer. They're still there, but they have not wrapped back up yet. But kind of widen that just a little bit. Let's put a little bit of just put hit play, if you will. So it has not wrapped up yet, but we still see this mesocyclone is spinning. This is still rotating. And I'm going to give this just a few more minutes, and then what we're going to do is we're going to soon things over to the 24/7 channel here very soon. We can get back to basketball, okay? But we're not going to give up the program. Yes, sir.
We have some video of that hail that just came by.
All right, well, let's see if we can show the video of that hail, that'd be great.
RVR
We
for
have it hard here at the station. Not long ago. So if they get that ready, let's show it. So, but in the meantime,
would have been a different story.
I think it would have produced. I think we would have had a very devastating situation on our hand right now if it had just a little bit more moisture. In this type of environment, you know, you get anything, you can still get them, but it's usually quicker, briefer than it is when you have more instability. And these wind motions, while it is rotating, when you look for a tornado, it has to be real close together or kind of dancing and wrapping around with each other, and it hasn't done that yet. It still could over to Clay County, so we're not going to quit following the storm for sure. There's your looks like your updraft is now maybe just a little bit east, right over the Shepherd Air Force Base and Nipsey Airport. But it's moving so quickly, this should be over Clay County soon.
They're getting some hail as well. Shepherd Air Force Base.
What's the hillside?
1 inch. 1 inch.
1 inch hail at Shepherd Air Force Base. So a little bit larger than what we got here at the station. What we had here at the station was basically this nickel and quarter size hail. And there's a lot of it out there, that's for sure. So let's go back over to the hit reflectivity, if you could, Jay. Let's take a look there. So pretty loud hail over Shepherd Air Force Base. This is going to move through pretty quick, though. Your larger hail, and that's that 1 inch hail, it's basically along and north of Witchita River, on the north side of the Shepherd Air Force Base. And this is about to cross over here into Clay County shortly. Expect hail to increase in Dean. Expect hail to increase in Charlie. A little bit of hail, excuse me, a little hail in Charlie, but not as large.
Cameron said take them.
All right, let's go to Cameron now. Cameron, where are you at, man? What you see? Cameron, come in. Put him in, Cam.
All right, thanks a lot, Cameron. I'm just reporting that to the Weather Service, so they'll know. We try to keep our friends at the Weather Service, try to keep them up to date on what's going on with this stuff too. So, you know, Jaden, all this stuff happened on my birthday, man. I had a good afternoon planned, a good evening planned. I was going to eat some good food with the wife and the kids, and then we get this. So,
What a better birthday, though.
I know. I'm doing what I love. That's right. Keeping people safe and keeping people informed. Thankfully, this wasn't any worse than it was. But you know, we're not sounding the all clear just yet. But at least this has not been as bad as what it otherwise potentially could have been. Now I am watching the storm that's on the back side. There's no rotation with it. That's good. It doesn't have the same organization. It doesn't look the same. But this is going to slap Iowa Park and parts of Wichita Falls with some brief downpours and smaller hail at this time. There's other storms developing back to the west. There's some storms south of Vernon and other storms down north towards Seymour. Those right now are not severe. We'll watch and see. I do expect a line of storms or all this stuff to organize into a line of storms perhaps over the next couple of hours. So as of right now, we're dealing with at least one supercell, but I do expect the line of storms to at some point in time begin to take over for these supercells. I don't expect these to continue for a long period of time. So I do expect more of a line here coming up here pretty soon, which when we get a line of storms, we're more concerned with wind and smaller hail than we are tornadoes and larger. So expect a lot of storms to track across North Texas over the next several hours too. Right now, this is mostly a hail situation. This is almost out of Wichita Falls. So what I'm going to do now is, Jacob up in the booth, let's go back to basketball and let's continue on the 24/7 channel. For those of you that are wondering what that is or where you can get, how you can find that, it's 6.4. It's 6.4. So go there. You can also find me over on my YouTube page, my Facebook page, as well as on TikTok at this hour too. Now, let's just go ahead and go back to the 24/7 channel now, if we could, and back to programming on CBS. All right, so I think we probably got that now. That's good. All right, so we're still on the 24/7 channel. So now we're kind of a little bit more kind of laid back, a little bit more relaxed. I guess we were in 60 minutes at this time. I guess we really weren't into So we covered up. But the good news is Duke blew them out anyway.
Right.
So it wasn't even a good basketball game. So if there's one to get into, that was it. If there was one to do, that was going to be it. So I'm definitely okay with that. I mean, it's not like we have a Texas team on. So
Appreciate that, Chris.
yeah. But we're still on the 24/7 channel, so we still got that up. But y'all, I mean, it's casual and laid back, so we're good. So if y'all want to talk, you can. It's no big deal. This is behind the scenes stuff, live stuff, and it's just, kind of how it goes. So, but we're not changing anything. Yeah, I know you guys can barely hear me, but what's happening for you guys that are watching on social media here is I've had to do updates on News Channel 6. That's my TV station I work for because of the weather going on through the area. I'm having to do Facebook Lives a little bit different for right now. We're undergoing some transition with some stuff, and we're still trying to work some bugs out. So that's why I'm having to do things a little bit different. So you don't hear me talking directly into my mic because I don't have my wireless mic hooked up to my computer. But what I do have is my other microphone. I turned it up as loud as I can, so you might be able to at least hear me some. I do apologize for that, but we're trying to give you whatever we can coverage wise. So we got to be able to try to keep you informed as we can. So, but I do apologize for not being able to have direct audio here for you. But we're gonna stay on here with it. We're on the 24/7 channel right now, and again, that is 6.4. We are on Facebook Live. We are on YouTube. So that is certainly some stuff that we need to be on, and that's good news. And I got a TikTok up too. On my birthday here, Jacob. Jaden. Why did I call you? Listen, as you get older, you just names and all and whatnot just all start running together, man. It is due. I mean, I got all my kids and I got all my dogs, and I can hardly remember the names, hardly ever. So I'm just reading the latest here. Yeah, they're just talking about the storm prediction center, which is talking about brief tornadoes, which is definitely what we're looking at here. Anything brief. We just don't have, the energy you need in the atmosphere for tornadoes today, really. I mean, it wasn't zero, but, nothing significant. But, we had to go on, and I hated to cover up the basketball game, but we had to go on because it was, impacting, our more populated areas. Now, that don't mean we're not concerned about our less populated areas, but we just got to be, we've got to be, concerned. We have to do our, and I can't even think right now. So, but, yep. So, that's a sharp suit you got on too there, by the way. I'm trying to look like you, man. So, yeah. Yep, it is. So, oh, it was. Yeah, it'd be great to get that hail on there. Oh, there it is. So we're showing the hail. This is outside of the station here about, 10, 15 minutes ago maybe? That's some good size hail. It doesn't look like that was damaging hail, though. It looks like it was probably more in the way of, mostly small hail. There was a lot of it that came down. It was loud here, man. But, it's spring, and when we get in the spring, we get these things. We get these storms that produce hail, and we get the storms that produce winds. Fortunately, most storms do not produce tornadoes. So that's good. That's good news. Out there, we still got several storms we're watching here this evening. We still got this one storm that's kind of moving into Clay County at this hour that we're keeping an eye on. There's the radar. There's a little rotation in it. There's still got some decent rotation there in it, but it's broad. It hadn't wrapped up yet, but it's still got some spin to it. And Cameron is trying to reposition himself. So let's go to the Comanche Nation Entertainment First Alert Storm Tracker. Cameron, looks like you finally have gotten in the spot, but man, this storm is super rain wrapped. Are you where you can hear me at this time?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
All right, trying to get himself organized. I know how it is. We've been trying to do the same thing here today, so I get it. I totally get that. So, But I do see some rotation in there. But hopefully this one doesn't produce anything. But it's kind of gotten a little bit better organized, kind of over towards Dean. So if you're in the Dean area, we do have a little rotation over there, especially kind of on the back side of it. There, you can kind of see how this thing is kind of pushed on through. Nothing tornadic at this time, but we still could see brief spin ups with this. So not too worried about anything major. But we could still see some brief spin-ups with this this afternoon and early this evening. So, the shear is really good. Cameron, are you where you can talk yet, or are you still trying to get yourself together there?
Do you have my audio?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Amy?
I can hear you. He may not be able to hear us, but I can hear him. So, but, really not much to see from that vantage point anyway because, like I say, everything is so wrapped in rain. It's really hard to see this. This is a high precipitation supercell. It's got mostly hail in it and some rotation. But we'd have to just kind of see if it can, try to get better organized and spin up. The next location, let's go back to the radar if we could. The next spots we need to worry about with this storm, you expect the hail to increase in Petrolia soon. So right now there's a little bit of rotation over Dean. Not a lot, but a little bit there over Dean, right along, what is that there? Highway, I believe that's Highway 82, I think. So north of Jolly, north of Dean, kind of headed towards Petrolia, there is a little rotation on those here, but it still looks like it's mostly a hail threat here to me more than anything else. You can see some of these colors wrapping into kind of merging up with each other here, especially kind of on the right over the highway, right over where the Dean is located there. So keeping an eye on that, but nothing that looks imminent at this point in time, which is definitely some good news. There's the latest radar update. There's some pretty good opposite wind directions in there, but as of right now, it looks like mostly just kind of a hail producer more than anything else. And over Wichita Falls, we do got another thunderstorm that's kind of clustered up, but that thunderstorm there is just producing some downpours, and if there's any hail with that, it would be very, very small. So that is certainly some good news there. Towards Lawton, some non-severe thunderstorms up towards you. Looks like we got a little increase in thunderstorm activity from about Seymour, the south of Vernon here this afternoon. Nothing severe yet, but the hail sizes could pick up in that some. So we'll need to keep an eye on that. Looking at velocities, nothing to be concerned with in that. But there's some pretty strong spin in this storm over here in Clay County. Nothing that appears to be tornadic yet, but want to see. I'm keeping an eye on the weather service here, and nothing that appears to be imminent. This is going to go north of Henrietta. This is going to pass very close to Petrolia. Going to go south of Charlie, and going to pass very close to Petrolia. So kind of between Henrietta and Petrolia, there is some broad rotation in the thunderstorm, and from there it heads out kind of over the northern side of Clay County and towards the southern part of Jefferson County. It looks like at least the rotating part of this storm will go south of Waurika. But there could be some downpours and maybe a little hail there in Waurika. Could be some hail perhaps headed towards Ryan, Oklahoma, and Terrell, Oklahoma. And this is going to go probably north of Ringo, probably go just north of most of Montague County, kind of moving kind of right along the Red River, kind of sort of there. And over Wichita Falls, again, you got this clustering of this thunderstorm here with some pretty heavy rain. Nothing in there that shows any signs of rotating. It almost looks like, though, this storm here is, maybe even becoming a little outflow dominant. So I'm going to walk over to the wall and kind of show you what I'm talking about with that. At this point, so tell Ken I'm in Dean. You cannot see anything into this storm. Yeah, I can tell. It's so rain wrapped. So you've got a couple things going on here with this thunderstorm at this point in time. Okay, so number one, it is wrapped in rain. So you can walk outside and look at it all you want. You're not going to see anything. Okay, so this is that strong road. This is that spin. This is the spin around the updraft. You got the winds in the backside. There's your rear flank downdraft. That's producing some strong wind gusts. You can see some really strong wind gusts north of 287, south of Petroleum. So you kind of see the outward motions of the winds that kind of just stand up in this direction here. But on the north side, you do got this rotation back into the thunderstorm here some. So you're kind of watching to make sure that this doesn't kind of pop in and kind of get to kind of do that little twist motion, that little dance motion we've been talking about. There are some really strong converging winds in this area here, but I believe that may be a little bit undercut because that's some cool thunderstorm winds
rushing out from the thunderstorm. So I think that this could be undercut. There could be this could be perhaps maybe feeding or ingesting some cool air. But this would be the area you'd be watching for any sign. Go to reflectivity if you could there real fast. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, there's your inflow notch. There's your warm inflow coming into the thunderstorm right in this area. Updraft's going to be roughly right in here near D. And then you got the downpours on the flanking line, the storm on the back side here of it. So definitely got some strong winds pushing out right along 287 between Dean and Jolly. Hail moving into Petrolia now. So if you are watching this from Petrolia on our 24/7 channel or on our Facebook Live YouTube stream, then you will see that there is some decent sized hailstones moving in your direction even as we speak here. Let me go back over here. Let me get the crawl back on. I forgot to do that on News Channel 6. Is there any basketball games on tonight or is it over with today?
I think it's over with for today.
Yeah, I think so too. So I thought so. We got the Sweet 16 next week, so I think it starts with Thursday. But anyway, there's our storm. Looking at the velocities on it, you do got some spin in it, but it doesn't look like anything that's too organized yet. We'll have to see, making sure it doesn't get any better organized. Weather Service mostly saying large hail with this. Most of the hail we see is 1 inch in diameter, which is good news. That tells us that mostly what we're seeing is hail with this. And from the tracker feed anyway, it looks like mostly just low-hanging scud clouds or maybe some outflow with that. Cameron, let's go to Cameron, Weatherman Cam, if we could. Cam, it's really hard to say what you're seeing there on your camera. Looks like this is probably mostly wrapped in rain. Can you confirm that from your location?
Yeah, Ken, I was near Dean. I had to cut south because the hail core, the southern hail, the hail core was coming towards me. So I had to pull off because the hail is about golf ball size hail and you're driving into it. It's not an ideal situation. And, that's definitely the situation. When you look into the storm, I had a great look in the storm. You cannot see anything. This thing is highly rain wrapped right now. And because of that, you can't put it up and you can't see anything. So if there is a tornado there, you're not going to be able to get a picture because of how much rain is associated with this thing. It is hard to see, and so it's going to chase a little difficult. So right now, let's see, I'm currently about 4 miles south of Dean. I need to start cutting east again. Like I said, it's just I had to get out of that hail core because that hail's coming down about golf ball size hail. You combine that with winds plus me driving the speed I'm driving, it becomes a bit of a sticky situation. But the good news is I didn't blow up the windshield, so it's good.
That's good. That's good to hear there. All right. Back over to the radar, and still got these wind velocities up. Nothing that's wrapping in, so it looks okay. Nothing tornadic this time. Pretty strong. There is some pretty strong spin in it, but it's associated with that updraft. And oftentimes when you do get these storms that have stronger updrafts, it gives them a better opportunity to produce hail. Most of what we see is 1 inch to 1.25 inches to perhaps as much as 1.75 inches diameter, which would be the size of some golf balls. That's probably the largest size we're going to see today. Would just be some golf ball size hail with this over here, maybe in Petrolia, and now moving out of Dean. Also some strong winds blowing out from the thunderstorm north of 287, north of Henrietta, over Wichita Falls. Heavy rainfall this hour, but nothing that's tornadic, nothing that's severe at this point in time. There's your warning, covers most of the northern half of Clay County right now. And this is only for a severe thunderstorm, nothing tornadic. So that is certainly some really, really good news. So, Jay, why don't you widen the radar and show reflectivity and kind of talk about what might be going on in other parts of the area besides that?
Yeah, as you mentioned, this thunderstorm is starting to make its way over towards northern parts of Clay County. But the good news is it is not tornadic like we saw earlier, which it could be, but it's not. So we don't have to worry about that right now. But there's not a lot of moisture out there. We were forecasting this days in advance, and we kind of figured that this is what we're going to be seeing. Not a lot of moisture out there, so it's not feeding into the storm. You can see there's a little bit of inflow heading into there, a little bit south of Petrolia. If you're in Petrolia right now, you need to definitely go ahead and make sure that your car is inside your garage or anything like that, because you have that hail pocket moving extremely right over Petrolia. Wichita Falls, we're on the back end of this storm right now, so we're out of the clear for anything tornadic. But this storm itself is not tornadic as well. This is a very fast-moving storm, so if you're traveling along Highway 81, and say you're in Rhine right now, just get ready for some heavy downpours of rain. Like Cameron just mentioned earlier, you can't see anything when you're in the middle of the Henrietta, you'll be south of the storm. You can see that's moving towards the north. Can we go to the velocity, Cameron?
Yes, we can. We'll pull the velocity up, see what it's showing there.
So you see it's starting to weaken a little bit. It's not really good rotation there. There's still a little bit of gusty winds, but not like we saw earlier about maybe 30 minutes ago when the storm was entering Wichita Falls. There was a little bit of rotation there that we were concerned about. That's the reason we went ahead and cut in over the CBS network program. But it's not a lot of formation there. It doesn't really look too good that we're looking at. So that's good news for us. Everybody that's at home, so you don't have to worry about that, especially if you have storm anxiety or getting nervous about that stuff. You're okay. You're about to get some heavy downpours of rain, as well as some little bit of hail as well with that. Let's go ahead and go to Storm Tracker, see what Cameron is looking at. Cameron, can you tell us where you're at right now and how's everything going out there?
Oh, well, we're good now. Just kind of catching a break, kind of breaking the action. I'm going south, about 6-7 miles south of Dean, and I'm going south towards Henrietta, and I'm going to get a little bit more, going towards Henrietta, so that way. But I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to start to cut north once again. And I'm kind of watching this thing. They seem to move north of the Red River, and the issue with it once it crosses the river is that when you're storm chasing, when you're going through Texas, Oklahoma, there are only so many bridges available to cross, and that becomes a bit of a challenging routing issue. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. I have my radar up. I'm watching velocity. I'm watching radar, and I think the biggest thing with this storm now is just the downpours and the hail associated with it. Because once you get inside that storm, your visibility goes from great to nothing. And I can't put up emphasis on that. It gets pretty hairy. That's the latest here, so I'll keep you updated. We will be to Henrietta in about 10 minutes, and then I'll start my northward trek once again and see if we can get back on the storm. Now, as much as I want to get back on, I'm going to get back on it, but the thing is, it's just so different seeing anything into the storm. So it's hard to look into it because of how much rain is coming down to look through it and see if there is, in fact, a tornado or associated with it.
Well, thank you for that, Cameron. Make sure you're safe out there. That's the most important thing. You don't want anything to happen that's out there. Let's go ahead and go back to radar. Did you go to reflective? Oh, that's already been reflected.
Yep.
All right, I see you, Ken. All right, so there's the storm that we're still looking at. Like, here's Wichita Falls about 30 minutes ago. It was right in the middle of it, getting that hill. You can see now we're in the back end of it. It looks like there's another severe thunderstorm.
Yep.
A little bit further off towards the west into Electra, Catadane Corner as well. This is intensifying as right now. You see a little bit of hail right there. The hail could intensify. This storm is moving towards the east a little bit. So if you're traveling along Highway 277, be aware of that. Dundee, be aware of just some heavy downpours of rain, especially along Highway 183. Grayback, you just missed it. It's over towards the east of you currently right now. But overall, we're watching that hail, and this is a new severe thunderstorm warning for that area. This is going to be coming towards Wichita Falls as well. Just a little heavy downpours of rain. That's the main impact, as well as the hail that we just saw. Similar to the hail that we just saw, could be coming back over towards Wichita Falls. Burnett as well. You just saw some light showers. You're dry right now, but get ready for this second storm that's coming towards your way as well. We go a little bit further up towards the north into Oklahoma, see what a lot of Walters. You can see you're on the tail end of those showers and thunderstorms. Nothing severe up there in Oklahoma, so that's good news. That's the reason all of our focus is further down south into our area, Clay counties and Wichita County as well. But overall, that's what we have going on. Duncan, just getting heavy downpours of rain. No hail associated with this one, so that's good news as well. But the main impacts further down south. I'm going to move this camera.
Oh, okay, I could have done that.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. So we're going down here, and you can see into Petrolia.
I got you.
There is the hail right there going right over Petrolia. So you're probably getting hail. What you saying that size?
Probably the same as we've been seeing, Jaden. I would think that the hail with that is probably, I would say probably quarter size, maybe nickel size. At the largest would be golf ball, but most of that's going to be small, I would think.
So that's good news right there.
Yeah.
Like you can see the red and yellow. If you don't know how to read a radar, you're just seeing all these colors and you just know it's raining. The red is heavy downpours raining now. The purple, bluish color that you see right there, that's the hail that we're talking about. And you can see it's not as big, so we're not saying extremely hail right now or anything like that. It's just small, nickel size, maybe if golf ball size. But that's heading towards Ryan right now along Highway 81. So like I mentioned earlier, if you're traveling along Highway 81, be aware of that storm that you're about to run into. Cameron mentioned earlier, he was right in the middle of this storm. It's very hard to see as you're in this storm. So just be aware of that. If you have to go make a grocery run, just wait until after the storm moves by because you don't want to
Man, we can't have a bad. We're talking about we can't have having bad hair days. That's no good, Jaden.
You can't have a bad hair day, can.
No, man, you can't. Sometimes I get them, but I try not to.
So you can see there's a little bit of rotation there heading towards petroleum. So if you're outside watching the storm on the patio, like a lot of people like to do, it's going to be pretty gusty winds right now heading into petroleum. Along Highway 287, you can see those winds are going away from the radar currently. So it's a little gusty there along 287, heading towards Henrietta as well. But overall, nothing tornadic that we're looking at. Would you agree, Dan?
Oh yeah, no, definitely nothing tornadic. You're talking about looking at the radar, sitting on the patio. And I'm sure your grandparents probably did it too. But when I was a kid, this is what got me interested in weather was my grandfather liked to watch weather. He was a farmer, so he was interested in what was going on with the weather. So anytime a thunderstorm would come up, he'd go out and step in the patio, sit there and just watch it. So I'd go watch it with him. And I think that's kind of where I developed my interest in weather. I think your grandmother was similar, right?
She loved the weather. She always watched the animals because she had a farm.
Mm-hmm.
So the animals, she would get her forecast from animals.
That's awesome.
Local weatherman.
And that's the way they used to do it back then. My grandfather was the same way with the cattle and whatnot. So, that's that back then they just didn't have the technology that we have today. So that's what they had to do,
Sometimes I use that too. It never goes wrong looking at those animals.
They'll tell you, man.
Give me something. I don't have it.
Well, I've got plenty. You can come borrow one if you want to. I got plenty. But yeah, we've thankfully, Jaden, this hadn't been too bad this afternoon. We didn't think it would be too bad, and it hasn't been. That's been the good news. But we have had some hail here and there. We have had a couple thunderstorms to track and worry about. But the good news is nothing was produced by any of these storms today as far as tornadoes. There was a couple. I did see a couple of funnel clouds, kind of up into Oklahoma. And I did see one maybe that was out south of Vernon earlier, but nothing major. So that certainly was some good news. Looks like what we got going on now, though. We got a line of thunderstorms. You got this supercell that's out ahead of it, but you got a line of storms that's now developing, and that line of storms is going to be moving across at least the northern parts of Texas and maybe even the parts of southern Oklahoma. That should grow upscale, and that should become more linear stuff with just downpours and whatnot. Hey, why don't you toss things over to Cameron, Jaden, because that's a pretty good shot there.
Yeah, Cameron, what are you seeing right now?
That is going to be the rear RFD we're looking at right now. This looking from 287, the camera's looking due north of the kind of towards Witchita, the RFD that's over the alley right now. It's what we call an SLC, a scary looking cloud. Nothing traumatic is associated with this cloud here. Definitely some hail though within that storm. And as I'm looking off to the east, something to note is that there's constantly some low-level moisture that is flowing into this storm. However, it looks like we're starting to get to a point where it's beginning to run out of moisture because all evening I've been watching it as just bands of moisture have been feeding into it. However, the bands have been starting to slowly taper off and they're not as present as they once were about an hour or two ago. So that's what's going on right now. Pull over just west of Henrietta looking into the RFD over top.
Well, appreciate that, Cameron. Make sure you stay safe over there as well. If you take a look at radar once again, you can see these storms are still moving out of Wichita Falls currently into Petrolia. Petrolia, you're in the middle of the storm right now. Nothing traumatic, so you're okay in that aspect.
Yes, definitely.
Right there that you're looking at. That's making its way into Rhinehead. You can see maybe a northeast flow along Highway 81 and moving into Eureka currently right now. So if you're in Eureka, you're starting to hear the rain hitting the windshield as well as the windows right now. And then further down south, Henrietta, I believe that's where Cameron is, right?
Yeah, he's down in that area right now, Jaden. He's down there, so.
Front of the storm currently, so that's about to head towards his direction. That's the camera feed that we just saw. But overall, just heavy downpours of rain, and the hail is the biggest impact with the storm that's moving out of Wichita Falls, like I mentioned, into Petrolia, as well as making its way.
Hey guys, I am here, so.
Ryan as well. So overall, stay safe, folks. Make sure that you're not driving into this because it is very difficult to see with the heavy downpours of rain, as well as the hail hitting your windshield. That's not a good picture right there.
That's right. That's right. All right, Jade, I'm gonna talk about things for just a little bit here. I've got some people on TikTok that are asking me some questions here, and if you are people asking me whether these little if you're watching me over there on the radar I'm using anyway. It has some little triangles and whatnot, and people are asking what that means. That's just basically showing the hail size of what that's showing. So that's not anything to be too concerned with. But we do have hail. That's been our main concern with these storms. And people are asking, hey, what's coming with this stuff on the backside of these storms moving out of Wichita Falls? This more hail-producing thunderstorm. This is kind of forming, kind of going upscale a bit, kind of growing upscale a bit. So these are going to be more in the way of some wind and mostly smaller hail producers. We'll see if any of those can, try to quickly form into a supercell, but I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think these are going to be mostly linear things. So with the line of thunderstorms, typically what you get with the line of thunderstorms is wind because everything is straightened out and stretched out, so it's mostly wind. And yes, we are looking safe. I mean, we may see some more hail and some wind with some of that, but it doesn't look too bad. So hold on, let me ask. Cameron's asking something here. What's the move here? I'm just going to tell him to come on back to the station, so because I think that he heard me. So I think because that storm is starting to it's moving so quickly, it's going to move out, and we're just even though we're not giving up and not going to. So somebody said there's an issue over on my Facebook chat. So what's the issue on Facebook chat here? I don't see anything here. We can only hear you. Yeah, I know. All right, so people are asking me about the audio. So I understand that. But what's going on with the audio here is so you can see this microphone that I'm using. This is for the folks watching on social media. I don't have a way to pipe my audio in. We're in the process of doing some upgrades and doing some reorganization to some of our social media platforms at the station. So there's some audio issues with it. So I'm having to do my Facebook Live updates through a computer that is for weather and weather only. And I'm having to use a different microphone source. And unfortunately, I can't use my wireless mic because it's not piped into my computer here, or at least this particular computer. So when I walk away and walk to the wall, you don't hear me as good because I'm away from the mic you see here. I'm using this little wireless mic, and it's just not plugged in. I just don't have a way to get that into my computer. I wish I did. So I have to kind of walk away because I have to cover two things. I have to cover social media, and we got to cover stuff on the wall. Jade and I are covering it. We got Cameron out, Weatherman Cam out there in the field, and the storm tracker. So we're doing the best we can, but unfortunately, we do have a few bugs we're still trying to work through. Now, it does look like this thunderstorm that's coming in behind the initial thunderstorms, looks like those might be developing kind of a little bit of a supercell characteristic to it. So, Jaden, let's go over there. Why don't you walk back on the wall and talk a little bit more about these new severe thunderstorm warnings we got. Talk a little bit more about the storms that are down towards Seymour that's prompted the warnings, and the storms that are the new warnings out for at least the western parts of Wichita Falls. And again, I'm telling everybody here that's watching, I do believe that we're safe. I don't think this is going to be tornado producers, but more hail producers. Don't you think so, Jaden?
Yeah, I agree with that, Ken. You mentioned earlier that these storms are starting to become more of a linear characteristic, but they are starting to intensify just a little bit. You can see still a little bit of energy out there that these storms like, so that's the reason they're starting to grow just a little bit. But the tornado threat is still very low because there's not a lot of moisture out there that we've been talking about all week. My forecast last week in the mornings, we were talking about there's not a lot of moisture out there to feed these storms on Sunday, and so that's what we're seeing right now. The main threat that we're watching is the hail sizes. They could spike up a little bit. We saw some hail about an hour ago almost now here in the falls, and they're about nickel to dime size, and a little bit higher than that, almost golf ball size. But we're watching that a little bit south of Electra, but into Electra. You can see heavy downpours of rain, but south, a little bit in between Catanay and Corner, you see some hail right there. That's the purple color that you're seeing, that's hail. And the red is heavy downpours of rain. So that's the northeast flow right now. It's starting to intensify. So that's going to make its way over towards Iron Park as well as along I-44, maybe in 30 minutes, maybe in Burke-Burnett.
Yeah, it's moving fast for sure. So.
Moving fast right now. Right back, we're going to stay a little bit north of this storm as well. And then further down south along Highway 183, that's right where it's at right now. Heavy downpours of rain. So if you're driving there, it should move over you because it is a fast-moving storm. It looks like those are scud clouds, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely the scud clouds. That's just showing the moisture there in it. That's definitely a scud cloud for sure. So.
These storms are looking to make sure that it's starting to intensify just a little bit. But like I mentioned, tornado threat is low. We're going to be focusing on the hail as well as just heavy downpours of rain, especially if you're out on the rain or on the road right now. If you're at home, this is good sleeping weather. Okay,
It is good sleeping weather. I like this.
I'm telling you, this is great sleeping weather. You know, I'll be in bed right now. You got to wake up early tomorrow morning. But the main impacts will be the people that's driving on the road along Highway 287. If you're heading west through Iowa Park or trying to make your way towards Electra, you might want to go ahead and just pull over just a little bit. Let these fast-moving storms go ahead and move out the way so you're not driving in that because it is very hard driving that. You can't see the heavy downpours of rain as well as just hail itself. You can see Wichita Falls is right here. It has a northeast flow to it, so we'll probably get towards the end of the storm, the bottom of the storm, then get around to this location where Wichita Falls will see it. So we could see another round of hail, but these are going to be small hails, just pea-sized hail, but we're still watching it as it starts to intensify as it's moving towards the northeast. You can see further down south, it's starting to try to make that linear formation like Ken talked about earlier. That's moving a little bit towards the east of Highway 183, Mabel, Seymour, Dundee. You're about to start getting heavy downpours of rain, especially along Highway 277. You can see down in Seymour, there's a little bit of hail. That hail pocket is about to make its way over towards Seymour as well. So overall, Holiday, Archer City, the wind through is dry right now, but you got another round coming your way, especially here in Wichita Falls and up in Burke Burnett. But nothing like we saw a little bit a while back ago because they're starting to intensify, but we're just worried about the hail right now. Like I mentioned, we're just worried about
Yeah.
especially the heavy downpours of rain. So that's
Let's
going to make your way over towards Wichita Falls.
let's look at a little bit of velocities there. Yeah, that's the way you really tell. Look at the velocities over here on this storm. I still think that's mostly going to be outflow winds, but there's definitely some rotation in that.
Yeah, there is. It looks a little bit more defined than it was when it was back over here in our area.
Yeah.
This is south of Petrolia right now, moving towards Ryan. So Ryan, you're about to get some gusty winds, especially as heavy downpours of rain. What do you think, Kevin?
I think so. I think some really strong winds with that gusting on out. If we, I see this here, and this tells me that still remains an outflow dominant storm here. This is outflow winds. These are kind of blowing out away, but you still have a little bit of some flow inward too. But it looks like to me this is probably going to be a little elevated over in here, so I'm not too worried about that at this time. We can also take a look back to the west, and these storms that are moving in they've tried to spin a little bit, but it's just nothing organized at this time. I think that's mostly going to be hail and some gusty winds with that as it moves on through. It's kind of got a little bit of some supercell looks, but it's still trying to more or less grow upscale into a line. And I do think that line will continue. I think that these storms will prompt some warnings, probably additional warnings for Wichita Falls and maybe even down towards Archer City into Seymour right now. You're basically just looking at some smaller hailstones, and these could also brush by. There's actually some storms down towards Graham too. So storms are trying to get going now, but fortunately we still are lacking a little of the low level moisture. So mostly what we're seeing here is just some hailstones. That is right. Just a little rain and hail. Yep. Yep. I would like that myself, but well, thank you. I appreciate that. The plans were to, hang out with the wife and the kids and the dogs this afternoon. Maybe even have you and old weatherman Cam over for some dinner. But sometimes things happen, and when they do happen, you just got to got to make plans and got to change plans. So maybe next weekend I can do it. So, well, I got to work tomorrow, so maybe next weekend we'll see. Lord willing, maybe next weekend we can do something. Yeah, we'll see. So.
We're still just watching these storms, though. It's kind of more relaxed because the tornado is very low right now. There's not a lot of moisture out there that we're talking about. And so overall, it's just a hail maker, heavy downpours of rain as well. So that storm that's moving out of Wichita Falls, a little bit of rotation with it. You can see that hail size kind of grew a little bit. It's starting to rotate just a little bit south of Petrolia. Now moving towards Ryan along Highway 81, north of Henrietta as well. So these are gusty winds as well as heavy downpours of rain. Definitely don't stay on the road with this. You want to go ahead and get inside because it's very hard to drive on the road with this. But looking at Cameron's tower camera, excuse me.
And I know I'm used to saying that too. It's the
Storm tracker.
Yeah.
Cameron, you tell us where you're at right now as well as what you're seeing. Looks like just some scud clouds out there. Nothing too impressive.
Yeah, I'm today's 7 o'clock trying to keep going back towards.
You just want me to pass.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Right now, you got some growing clouds, but again, these are just seals or scary. Excuse me. They're scary looking clouds, and I'm keeping an eye on this storm out to the west. That leading storm that we've been covering for the past hour or so, that picked up just about all of the energy in the atmosphere, I believe. Now, I don't know what the wind profile will look like at this time. I don't know if we're still getting wind shear or how that all looks. But the big thing is that the leading storm, the big storm we've been covering for about the past hour, that picked up a lot of the energy. And you're already on what's what we're looking for here? An atmosphere that was limited on energy. When you have storm that comes through, chews up all of it. And there's not much left over for the second thunderstorm. We'll keep an eye on it. I do see a severe thunderstorm warning, but you guys have been doing a good job of talking about just the hail and the wind associated with that storm. And again, happy birthday, hello.
Happy birthday to me. That is right. That is right. But yeah, we'll watch those storms back there, Cameron. But as of right now, I don't. They've got a little bit of some wind with them, but nothing that looks too serious at this time. So not overly concerned about them. But we'll keep an eye on it, make sure that nothing gets out of too out of hand there. So Jaden, if you need to go, you need to get up and go in the morning and go to work. You can go ahead and get out of here, man, if you want to. So, well, I do appreciate you coming in, though. Oh yeah, man! I'm glad you got to come in. Always good to see you guys. So even no matter when it is, always good to see y'all. So I'm glad you did come in. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, thanks Texoma, that's for sure. But I know you got to get up early, and it's tough, to get up early that morning shift and that early shift. So you go home and get you some rest, man. And
whenever you do something that you love, you can get up anytime. I stay up all day long.
I know it. Then we get fun stuff like this. I know. I did the morning show at one time too, and it's been a long time since I've done that. But I'd want to be a part of it too. So that's what you call dedication. When you got a guy you didn't even tell to come in, just comes in on his own. So that's when you got a good team is when you don't even have to. They already know to come in. You haven't got to tell them anything. So. And that certainly is very, very good. Kind of reminds me of whenever I was at you guys' age. I mean, my chief wouldn't even tell me to come. I just went in, so because I wanted to be there. So, but you go home and get you some sleep, get you some rest, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. So. All right, thank you, sir. All right, let's go back over to the radar if we could. So we're our first storm, which is a good hail producer, and it's also got some strong winds. It's quickly moving over towards the east. You got warnings there into the southern part of Jefferson County. We're talking about Eureka. We got hail headed right towards Ryan, and you've also got perhaps some pretty strong wind gusts in there too. You can really see how everything is kind of bowing out. So there's some pretty strong winds in that too. All right, good seeing you. Take care. So that's pushing on out there. You've got some, that rotation is probably mostly upper level, mid-level type stuff. Now let's go back to the west. Now we're going to start focusing on these next thunderstorms that are pushing on through. These are more kind of a linear type thing, but they do contain some hail and heavy rain with that too. It looks like these storms have now pushed through Electra. They're about to push through Cadane Corner. There's also storms down into Seymour. Seymour, you're seeing some, perhaps some small hail down that way at this hour. So you've got that. And then you got the thunderstorms. You follow on with the way into southwestern parts of Wichita County. And Wichita County has been the county today. That's been the one that's been getting it. Earlier this week we had the wall cloud also that came over the city. So that's what we got now. And Cameron is on his way back. He should be back here in the studio here pretty soon. Sorry, I'm drinking my tea. I always get a tea whenever I come to work. So I'm drinking my tea here. So this next little round will be moving into Wichita Falls here pretty soon. Maybe even Burt Burnett. You might even get in on this too. It looks like the hail sizes with that are going to be smaller, much smaller this next go round. There is a little bit of wind in it. You can see how the winds are kind of stretched out. They're not concentrated. Like over there, you can almost see the storms to the east. You can almost see a donut, a hole in some of that. So with that in mind, you can see how it's kind of more circular. But then you go over here, they got it stretched out. So real stretched out over into this area. So you can see how, and whenever things line up, that the winds tend to stretch out like that. So mostly what you see are just winds blowing kind of in one direction. You don't see a lot of the dancing motions that you guys see, that you expect to see with these things. So
spin-ups in this stuff from time to time, but I believe the main concern is some hail and some strong wind gusts with some of this activity. So the thunderstorm that moved through and brought the tornado warning earlier this evening for Wichita Falls is over here into the eastern parts of Clay County, north of Henrietta. There is some rotation, but it's disorganized. As you can see the updraft, there's your updraft right in there. So with this thunderstorm here, it did have some supercellular characteristics. If we had had more energy in place, we're talking about when you walk outside and it was hotter or warmer or a little more humid feeling. I know it's kind of mild out there today, but it's, at least from a thunderstorm standpoint, it really isn't. There's a little bit of moisture getting into it, but it needed to be a little bit more, a little bit greater. And if that had been present, that probably would have produced a tornado. If the rotation was there, I mean, the upper level dynamics, the strong jet stream and all that kind of stuff that goes into it, compensating for it. So as that happened, it still rotated regardless of what kind of moisture it had in place, which wasn't much. Still producing some pretty strong winds, some periodic little, there even could be some little spin-ups in this. I'm not going to rule that out. It could be some, maybe some gust tornadoes, maybe some little spin-ups over through this. This is kind of getting away from the radar, so you're starting to hit higher up in the thunderstorm. But this stuff on the backside, this is just more of a straight line wind. You can see some gusty winds with that moving across Wichita Falls, and it will be here soon. So, we got through the first round, and now we got another round. And then this round here, this is mostly going to be heavy rain and small hail and some gusty winds. That's mostly what we're looking at. So thankfully, that's still a pretty big supercell over there into Clay County. Let's go back up here and look at that. Still a pretty good supercell. It's not certainly not small. I'm looking at the velocities, and there's several areas in there where there is some spin, but it's very, very broad. It's nothing to be concerned about at this point in time. That's over there impacting hail into Ryan, and most of the hail is going to be probably somewhere around probably a dime, maybe up to the size, perhaps maybe of maybe some nickels would be at the very largest with that particular storm. We can go to the west, and again, we got this line of thunderstorms that stretches now from about the western side of Burt Burnett all the way down to Cadane Corner, and then it goes even further south from there, down into Baylor County, east of Seymour, and then it even stretches down even further south, all the way down to Graham, Texas. There's some thunderstorms down to that way this afternoon and this evening. We can look at that, and that activity is moving up to the north there. So even within this line, though, you do have what looks like some embedded, almost supercell-like structures. You look for these little kinks and whatnot in the lines and little areas where it looks like it tries to hook some. There are some little hooks in some of this activity. And keep in mind that the winds aloft, the jet stream winds, are very, 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 very strong up there tonight. So you're seeing some of that mix on down. There's some strong winds with these thunderstorms located especially over the southwest side of Wichita Falls, or Wichita County. That's the strongest winds I see in this line thus far. Cadane Corner. You can see how everything is stretched out in here. Look at this. We'll draw on the map. There is your stretch right in this area here. These are winds pushing out from the thunderstorm. So you're probably getting some pretty good wind gusts in there. I'd say at least 30 to 40 miles per hour if it can reach down to the Earth's surface. But you notice how it's real stretched out in these areas. So we are keeping an eye on that at this point in time. I do appreciate you guys on TikTok following me. I do appreciate the guys on Facebook and YouTube. And I even got one, and this is something new I'm trying, is Twitch. I don't know much about Twitch. I really don't. I don't know very much about Twitch at all. But I do have a feed going on it now. I think Twitch is more of a gamer site, but we're trying to reach as many people as we can these days. So that might be something to to tell your kids about, because they'll know more about that than I. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know much about Twitch and the gamer stuff, because I'm not a gamer myself. So I'm getting pictures from viewers here of the shelf/wall cloud that was pushing through earlier. Really nice cloud structures there. Looks like my friend Darren Beaver was probably streaming earlier.
Now, this activity here that's moving through the same storm system, which is responsible for this today, brings a threat for some severe weather over into, I believe, parts of Arkansas and Mississippi tomorrow. So there could be some of that over that way tomorrow. Doesn't look like a higher end event to me over that way, but could be some tornadoes over there. The moisture content's going to be a little more impressive there. You know, with this progressive weather pattern, we really just haven't had time to really moisten things up. So we weren't really able to really muster up a high octane moisture this afternoon with these thunderstorms, but just enough to give us at least a little bit of instability. And that combined with these strong winds that are pushing throughout the atmosphere really helped to get these things going. Looking all the way up to the north, I don't even see any warnings up north. You know, the main game in town is actually down here to the south. So that's where most of the severe weather has been today. But thankfully, this is not a tornado day. We really didn't think it would be, and thankfully it's not. Cameron, where are you at right now? Let's go to Cameron. Let's go to Weatherman Cam. Weatherman Cam, where are you?
Well, if you were to walk outside the station, you'll see the tracker in about 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. So you're almost back to the station, and that's okay. You must be over there behind the station. All right, let's go back over to the computer here if we could. And Cameron will be back in the studio here in a minute. I got the tower cam poked up here, and there's that next area of storms coming in. And what you're seeing off on the horizon with that would be the shelf cloud. When you see a shelf cloud, and you notice how it's real stretched out. That represents the thunderstorm air that's descending out of the thunderstorm, which represents gusty winds. And we'll probably get some of those here in the city here before too much longer. Pretty gusty winds, though. And notice how they kind of they stick out, and they don't really poke back into the storm. They kind of stick out. So, and they're kind of stretched out and elongated. Those are definitely shelf cloud winds. So that's what we got with the next round. So people have been asking me, are we safe? Yes, we are. We're safe. So we're good. Next round. If y'all got any questions, y'all can ask me over on Facebook now or on YouTube, whatever. I'll get them. I've just been over at the wall, for a good part of the day, the evening. So, but I'm mostly kind of sitting here at the desk now. So if you guys got any questions, you can certainly ask me, and I'll do the best I can to try to answer them. And we got stream going up on TikTok and on YouTube. Now, the one on TikTok really doesn't show the camera. Basically, all it's showing is just the radar image. The one that's on social media, the one on Facebook and YouTube, that's the one that's on. That's the one that's got the camera and all the other stuff with it too, there, and the chat and whatnot. Storm Master Nate, he's one that follows us here. I'm watching him on TikTok. He does a good job there with keeping the folks up north. We get keeping the folks up north, keep them informed there of the weather. Big Texas is another good guy here. We follows us on TikTok. We got a lot of people that follow us on TikTok there. So we certainly do appreciate our social media influencers that have taken up an interest in weather. Remember, there's good ones out there and there's some bad ones out there. And it just seems like, for whatever reason, it's TikTok is the one where all the bad ones are at. I'm sure that's the one I watch the most, but I don't really see them as much on YouTube or on Facebook on the Reels as much as I do on TikTok. There's a lot of bad information that goes around on there, but there's some good ones too. So just always know who you're following and trust who you're following. Whether that be me or somebody else, just make sure you have good, reliable information. So as we are in the tornado season now, and we weren't expecting this to be a higher end event, but as we do, when and if we do get other bigger events, you'll be in a situation where you can get the kind of the stuff that you need, the information that you need. So if somebody says kind of a dud today, we really weren't thinking today was going to be a big day. It's just not enough time to moisten up. So that's why it wasn't as big. And people are on TikTok talking about, this is going to go away. It's still got some hurdles to kind of overcome, but it certainly is possible that TikTok could go away at some point. So, and I like TikTok, but but keep in mind there's a lot of bad information on there. But there's bad information anywhere you go. So, but I do hate to see it go away because there's a lot of good stuff that can come of that too. I was hoping that somebody would buy it that's not associated with that company, so we could, continue it, and it still could happen. So hopefully it will. So the Weather Service is watching the rotation there. That's down near the Terrell area. So we do see that. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a tornado warning coming out for this at some point. I wonder if I've got a friend that does let's see here. So, I asked my friend here that's over that way, that's chasing, to ask him, give me a report if he gets anything over that way. So if he does, I'll be sure to let you know. So, but that does have some rotation with it. It's been having some rotation. That's not anything new. But that's a big fat supercell for sure. I would even almost argue and say that this is a supercell here too. That's kind of from about Iowa Park into Burt Burnett. There's some hail in this, and if you look at the winds, there's definitely some converging winds in there. But it looks to me like this is going to be just strong outflow winds. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning that includes basically the entire eastern part of Wichita County. The only part it does not include would be Electra and kind of northwestern Wichita County. Chris, you got something, bud?
Yeah, we got some video from Iowa Park hail if you need it. It's queued up anytime you want.
Okay, good. All right, thanks, Chris. So we got some Iowa Park hail video. So why don't we go ahead and bring that up? Let's bring up that Iowa Park video if we could. This is some hail. It was falling in Iowa Park earlier by some of our viewers out there, and it was a lot. It hailed here a lot too, but that's a lot of hail. Most of it is small, but it was enough to cover the ground. That was a lot of hail. Spring brings hail, and that's what we're getting here with these storms. There's some hailstones into a swimming pool there in Iowa Park. We can't really tell how large it is there. Thank you, Chris, with that. But some good hail coming down there, and quite a bit of it splashing the water out of the swimming pool this afternoon. So thank you for showing that. I appreciate that. And thank you for sending it in. I'm not sure who sent that, but I do appreciate it. But we do got these other cells we're going to be dealing with, and Weatherman Cam will be back in here in just a moment, and he'll be, he'll probably carry you through some of this too. My plan is I'll probably stick with it for a little bit longer, and then I'll probably go home too at some point in time and try to salvage what a little bit of my birthday I can. But we're probably gonna celebrate with the kids next week, I'd imagine, next weekend, as long as there's no weather. The way the weather pattern is, especially as active as it is right now, there could be some more systems heading in, perhaps maybe even next weekend closer to Easter. Easter Sunday could see some more too. So we'll have to keep an eye on those and see what all happens with all of those. So let's see. Susan said, we had quite a bit of hail here in Dean. Yeah. Where are we at? Narco 0007. We're broadcasting from Northwest Texas here this afternoon. So, we got somebody asking, is Wichita Falls going to hit again? It looks like so, but it looks like this time will just be maybe some gusty winds and some downpours and maybe a little smaller hail. Doesn't look like anything major. So that's good news. Archer City, you're going to get in on the act too. There's some hail headed towards you, and I do expect some of these storms to be moving into Alney. There's storms down towards Graham that perhaps contain some hail. This is all developing kind of along and ahead of the dry line this afternoon. It's kind of beginning to move eastward some. A pretty big storm system. This is actually going to create some pretty chilly weather, I think, over the next couple of days. I'll be honest, I really haven't looked temperature-wise. I've been more focused on this. So I really haven't looked at, a lot temperature-wise, but I do believe we got some cooler weather on the way behind this system coming in, over the next few days. Looks like some supercells maybe down there to the south, maybe down towards maybe Throckmorton, a few little supercells down trying to develop down near Graham. So we'll keep an eye on those. Thankfully, again, most of these are not, the circulations are not reaching the ground, which is good news. but hail will remain a bit of a concern. Now, here in Wichita Falls, this next line is moving almost due east. So we got rain moving into Holiday now. Rain, smaller hail in Iowa Park. We got rain and increasing hail signatures in Burke Burnett soon. We got a new thunderstorm developing on the north side of Wichita Falls. We can go back to the tower cam. This is for those of you that are watching on the 24/7 channel. You can see this. But from the tower cam standpoint, you can definitely see the stretched out shelf cloud with it. No rotation with it at all. You can see I can see the updraft with it. But we've got a mesocyclone. Mesocyclone just basically means area of low pressure. It's got a little spin in the updraft there with it, but nothing tornadics. That's good news. But some pretty strong winds are going to be moving across basically right along 287 at this point in time. From Iowa Park, this will be moving through the northern side of Wichita Falls soon. Some pretty strong wind gusts. In addition to that, there could be some small hail with that. But that is a really cool-looking shelf cloud that's going to be moving across the city there. It looks scary. It's a lot scarier than it looks a lot scarier than it actually is. It's probably more of of just some gusty wind. There's low-hanging clouds that pop off of it, but that's not tornadic. That's nothing tornadic. Those are just some low-hanging clouds that poke down out of the storm because of the descending motion with the cooler thunderstorm air. And when the clouds poke out like that, and instead of usually when they kind of tilt, when it tilts back towards the rain shafts, when you worry about it. But this is mostly going to be, looks like shelf cloud stuff to me. We'll see if any of that tries to organize into any type of a wall cloud or something like that. But right now, that does not appear to be the situation. This is more of a linear type of situation. I still see some rotation in this thunderstorm to the east over towards Stanfield and Ryan. It's going to go north at Terrell. There's still some rotation over there on that. So I can't rule out something brief. But the stuff moving into Wichita Falls at this hour, pretty strong winds. And these winds, they could gust up to 40 to 50 miles per hour, maybe even stronger, especially on the north side of the city. There's the latest update there, and pretty strong winds now coming just barely into the west side of Wichita Falls. This could be pretty close to Pleasant Valley, coming in on City View. Some strong wind gusts there associated with this shelf cloud. So if you're watching on the 24/7 channel, that's a shelf cloud there. If you're watching on the streams, then you are looking at more of just a good gusty wind front getting ready to push through. I'm going to go back over to the radar. And there is Weatherman Cam. Weatherman Cam is back here in studio. You just saw him walking across there. Cameron, nice job this afternoon. Two new tornado warning has now been issued now for southern Jefferson County. And that is for the storm that actually Cameron just left a little while ago, but I told him to leave. But that's the tornado warning we're seeing would be near Ryan into southern Jefferson County. So a little tornado warning has been issued here. This has been showing signs of rotation. But if you look, we got some pretty good gate-to-gate shear in on it now, about to cross the Red River and head right into Ryan. Let me see what the Weather Service says here. We're going to go tornado warning for storm into Red River, gate-to-gate velocities, tight on the Red River. So, yes, definitely, I see that as well. So, tornado warning has been issued for this Jefferson County area. So if you're in Jefferson County, tornado warning for you. What we're looking at is rotation, and I see at least a little bit of a couplet. There could have been a little tight, maybe a quick spin up, could be trying to develop there just along the Red River, just barely southwest of Ryan, Oklahoma. Could be maybe a little bit of a spin in this area that would represent a possible tornado. So if you are watching us, this would be on the 24/7 channel. That's where we're at. Jacob, what we'll do is, since we don't have basketball on, what we'll do is when we go into a national commercial break, let me know. So I can just do a quick update on News Channel 6. I can let our viewers on News Channel 6 know. I'm not going to go cover up program for a long time. I'm not going wall to wall, in other words. But, yeah, I do want to do a quick update over on News Channel 6 when we get that opportunity. So just let me know. So we can do that. But tornado warning is for Ryan. It's for a very small part. This is mostly going to be over into Jefferson County. The storm is basically out of Clay County now, so I'm not worried about you, Clay County. But we do see rotation. Looks like a little tornado that has developed near Ryan. So if you're in the Ryan, Oklahoma area, there is a looks like a little tornado. I'm going to walk over to the wall if I can. This will be on the 24/7 channel. But I'm going to walk over to the wall. And again, for those of you that are on social media, the volume will not be quite as loud because of I'm walking away. And again, I don't have the wireless mic piped in to my computer. This is only a mic that's kind of connected to the computer. So it'll sound like the volume is going away, but it really won't. So so if you do notice that, no, that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to walk away. I may try to turn my microphone and see if it can pick me up any better. It's a pretty good mic, so let's just see what it does. So I'm walking over to the wall here. And for those of you watching our 24/7 channel, I'm going to try to do a quick update over on News Channel 6.2. There's Ryan, and there's our little couplet. You really see a lot of these winds. This would be your winds blowing away from the radar. These are your winds coming into the front side. This is your inflow winds. So this is kind of pushing out. Yes, sir.
Do you want to do your next cutting now?
Over a national break. I don't want to go over local break.
It's going to be 30 minutes from now.
All right, just we go and just do a quick update right now, then that's fine. So we are going to do a little quick weather update over on News Channel 6. I promise I won't be on for a long period of time. So we are going to that. So let me know when we're on.
Stand by.
All right, quick weather update for you here. I'm not going to stay on for a long time, so I'm not going to interrupt your programming for too long. We do have this tornado warning out here for Jefferson County. This is going to be well south of Waurika. This is the same storm that moved across Wichita Falls earlier that prompted the tornado warning in southwestern Wichita County. But this is your little tornado warning over here in Jefferson County. I'm watching a couple areas. You've kind of got some rotation over here southeast of Ryan, basically just east of 81. A little rotation over in this area. So there could be a tornado developing in this area too. There's also what we call gate to gate, or a little couplet right along the Red River moving into Ryan. So it's possible that there could be a brief tornado maybe trying to develop near Ryan. So if you live in Ryan, a possible weak tornado could be moving into your area. Looks like a lot of what we call a good gate to gate shear. And that would indicate a little bit of a spin there on the northern side of this mesocyclone. There's also another spin over here just east of 81. This is moving north of Fleetwood over mostly rural sections of Jefferson County. Otherwise, this little spin, this little possible spin up could be near 81, very close to Ryan at this area, as our well south of Sugden. This is going to go basically along and north of the Red River. It could maybe clip extreme northern Montague County, but I think for the most part it stays north. But I'll watch the area up towards Lake Nacona to make sure it's going to stay safe. I believe you're going to be okay. In addition to that, we got other thunderstorms producing severe thunderstorm warnings across the area. Back to the west, these are associated with, these really aren't supercells. These are more of a line. But we do have some strong winds moving in on the north side of Wichita Falls up towards City View. And these are going to head towards Shepherd Air Force Base. And from there, they're going to kind of go south of Burnett and head towards the northern parts of Clay County. So gusty winds with that, moving very close to Interstate 44 at this time, near Arconic, near City View, basically going to go near or just north of the downtown Wichita Falls area. If you're on the south side of Wichita Falls, the strongest winds are staying away from you, but there will be some downpours moving overhead and maybe some pea-sized hail. There might be some larger hailstones maybe perhaps developing on the north side of this, maybe up towards Burnett, but most of it appears to be small at this time. We go further down the line, there's a severe thunderstorm warning now for most of Archer County, and this would include Archer City. Hailstones increasing with these storms south of Lake Kickapoo, headed right at Archer City. Most of the hail is probably pea-sized, but it could go up to the size of nickels, maybe quarters from time to time. We can go down to northern Archer County too. Small hail, maybe some gusty winds from Mankin headed towards Holiday and headed right at Lakeside City. Downpours and maybe some brief gusty winds. There's also some other strong storms that have developed in our southern counties, Throckmorton and into Young County. Some little supercell thunderstorms down that way that have some hail with them. And
we'll watch and make sure they don't try to develop any type of spin, but right now we're not really seeing that. The storm we're most concerned with for anything like that would be the one up here in Jefferson County near Ryan. Before I send things back to programming, it looks like the little tornado that was near Ryan probably has weakened and probably gone away, but we still have this rotation signature showing up, basically kind of east of 81, headed kind of towards Oscar and into the Adelaide area. So it looks like we could have a tornado maybe here, embedded in rain, southeast of Ryan. That was the one we were tracking earlier towards Ryan. This is the other one we're tracking, kind of north of the Red River, moving east towards Oscar. And again, this could brush the northern parts of Monte County. Could go just north of Lake Nacona and perhaps head towards Spanish Fork. I'm going to send things back to programming, but we are broadcasting over on the 24/7 channel. That is 6.4. You can also find me over on my Facebook page and YouTube page as well. All right, so we're now off of the News Channel 6. I told you I wasn't going to stay on for long. But, I am watching these little storms. Possible could be some tornadoes in some of these areas, but overall doesn't look too bad, to be honest about it. So we'll keep an eye on that. Back to the west into Wichita County. These storms down into the southern parts of the area, have actually grown in size as well. There's just some pretty decent thunderstorms down that way. Some supercells down that way, to be honest about it. Wonder if we got any reports there from the Weather Service on any of these thunderstorms. Yeah, you stayed with that storm for a long time, and it finally spun something up, looks like. So let's see. Mendoza CC radials northeast of us. That is a non-uniform beam. Okay. Melting hail. Aero 1020 Ryan near Highway 32. Okay, I'm just reading the Weather Service. Sorry about that. Just reading what they're saying about it. And, it looks like whatever rotation was on it has probably weakened. I don't really see much, kind of in it now. I really think this is going to go north of Lake Nacona and north of north of Monte County. It looks like, Cameron, on the north side of this line anyway, you do got a little bit of an embedded supercell, and you're getting those gusty winds coming on the south side of it. Yep. I don't really see anything in the way of tornadic spins with any of this stuff, but some pretty good winds about to push through the city here shortly. And probably some pretty good winds down into Archer County too, and maybe even eventually down into Young County. So, some hailstorms. I feel fortunate that we didn't have better instability today, Cameron, because I feel like that storm would have produced if we, right across the heart of the city there, if we'd have had better instability. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just kind of funny how with limited moisture, we still had high precipitation supercells that you couldn't see through.
That is, my thoughts were today we're going to be high base, low precipitation supercells.
Something I noticed while out was that when that storm continued to push east, it was just constantly eating up all the moisture out there.
It was it's a beastly cell. It still is. It looks, at least from a reflectivity standpoint, it looks like it's starting to fall apart some.
Yeah, because it was constant. You can constantly just watch the moisture just keep flowing into the storm.
Well, you had a pretty fun chase, right?
Until we got to downtown.
Why didn't you like the downtown?
Because I had to deal with 60-mile-per-hour golf balls coming in the windshield.
It didn't damage the tracker, did it?
No, that's what I was just checking.
Good. We don't want to damage the tracker. That's for sure. We're just now getting to storm season, so we don't need to have to worry about that. So
because of that, I kind of had to jump out of play because I didn't want to risk anything happening to the tracker. So
it was so rain wrapped anyway. It was very difficult to see anything at that time.
I had a perfect shot, and when I got to Dean, I was out ahead of it, and I was looking right into the inflow notch of it. But because it was, I cannot, like I said on air, it was so rain wrapped, you could not see anything on it. You could not see a wall cloud. You could not see anything on it.
Right. So
it was kind of frustrating at times.
Yeah, I know it was. I know it can be. It can be frustrating for sure. Storm chasing can be very, very, very frustrating for sure.
It's a lot of multitasking.
Yeah, you do. You got to multitask. So, it's a lot. It's a lot to it. Honestly, it is. So.
Oh, thanks. Just so we can hear you. Cool. Thanks for coming in today.
Well, that's just what happens sometimes. You've got to you gotta, whenever your duty calls, and we've made a commitment to really trying to, better serve, our community by trying to help to, kind of quiet a lot of these weather hypers that are out there. So, I feel obligated, and I feel that it's important that, that when we have these events, especially even though it's not a tornadic event, I mean, we knew we were going to see a chance, at least Wichita Falls, and I would have been kicking myself in the rear end if I didn't come in today.
Yeah. I heard you in my earpiece. I heard you say, I gotta take the coat off. I was like, oh man.
Take the what off? Oh, the coat off?
Take
Yeah.
The coat off. That's how you knew it was getting real.
Well, I mean, I was.
I was mostly on the RFD of that storm for a good chunk of the time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That was some mean looking RFD. Oh, look at that couplet.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say here with this storm near Ryan what's going on with it. It's kind of getting away. It's getting in that no man's land. It's getting away from the radar site.
Right.
You don't really have any good radar service over here. You got Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, and Frederick, but you don't have, you don't really have, a really good source. So it's hard to tell. You can see the updraft here in the storm, though. Look at the updraft. This is this is called a beware, bounded weak echo region, or your updraft. And then you got, you got your mesocyclone around it with those rotating winds, and then you've got, you got hail there around. This is a beastly storm, especially considering we had low Cape today.
Yeah.
Reed Timber once said that that Cape is overrated, but you really got two couplets, one there and one there.
Right.
The storm relative velocity over here about 350, so it's pretty strong.
Yep. That's what I was, watching. As those continue to push eastward and eastward, it was, just better environment for them to spin up.
So Reed Timmer's on it right now. I don't have his stream. Do you have his stream by chance?
I don't know. I wouldn't show it though.
Oh, I'm not showing it. I see Darren Beaver is on it, so I've got Darren.
So please don't attempt to do what we're doing.
Let me see if I can get it.
I've got years and years of experience,
No, you're just crazy.
and it's still dangerous for even us experienced chasers.
I don't know.
Okay, now I'm in Ryan, America.
A lot of times, I don't know the algorithms may not allow it. So.
And I'm going to go east.
They don't know how you.
I do like this stuff. That's some nice stuff I'd like to be able to do for mine, but I need to.
Ryan, you're just getting some
I think.
Before we get too deep in the storm season.
much needed rain right now.
Right now, you see it won't.
For Highway 81 corridor. That's good news.
I'd like to have it, but I just don't. No, I don't.
You have to add a video source, and I believe it would be window capture.
I think, I'm going to see if that works. Let me see here. Window.
Look for a window capture,
There it is.
and it'll have you select a window.
Yeah, see, it's still not letting me show the, yeah. Yep, it does. So it's the algorithm that won't let you see it. So I can understand that, though. It's hard to see that because of, just good stuff. Gold chick's good.
Yeah, things get very dangerous. Thank you.
I like
Chasing
it.
at night.
Smells good. So moving through Wichita Falls right now, just to kind of let her. This is not a tornadic. That's a pretty good winds though. Right up there. Yeah, especially kind of on the north side, kind of the same area that that's small. There are some looking great on this down here, Arkansas. Yeah, it is.
Okay, I'm gonna pull over here and I'm gonna check the radar and see how things are, but
it's
look to be doing not bad right now.
You're getting the nocturnal cooling too that's taking effect. So these storms might be slightly.
Okay, give me just a moment.
Moistened up outside some. Our dew point should be a little bit higher, I would think.
I believe that I had a lot of movement with hail and then.
Oh, it was really high, very, very, very loud here. Whenever it was coming through, very, very
When I got
loud.
the hail and I was in downtown, I'm pretty sure they sounded the sirens.
They may have. Sometimes the sirens will sound, and it's not just for tornadoes. They'll sound them for different reasons. Different communities, different towns have different philosophies and different ideas.
Yeah, because it's up to.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we really advise people to not rely on sirens. solely on sirens. When I was a kid growing up, that's what you did.
Location is just to my east. It's broad, but it's there.
So much since then.
I'm not worried about it at the moment, but it's just 2 or 3 miles from our location.
They're very seldom, they never miss a tornado. Matter of fact, the technology is so good now that I just don't see them missing, really missing really anything. So, as far as I lost my train of thought, Cameron. Well, been talking for a long time, so what am I trying to say here? Oh yeah. So as far as warnings go, when you were a kid, you got this warnings from the weather service. There you go. These days, those things can easily fail. They can easily malfunction. The best way to get a warning these days,
You might take your precautions if you're out in the Oscar area,
that's the best
just
way
to be on the safe side. But so far, I'm not seeing nothing.
See, we got somebody else's live audio online here. Oh, I bet I do.
Probably have that audio come through in that window capture.
Let me see where it's at.
No, I don't know if you put it on there.
Shouldn't be on this one here, so let me see. Storm Chaser's feed is still coming through. Well, I don't know where it's at there. Let's see. Oh, I bet that's where it's at. Let's just delete that off. Let's just take that out. Boom, gone. All right, that should have fixed that situation. I hope anyway.
What was I about to say? Shoot.
All right, good,
Oh,
good.
Also, a bit of a rant.
All right.
There were a good number of storm chasers out,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm all for. Obviously, I'm going to be all for storm chasing, but some of them are just so reckless. There were times I had to swerve because they just want to pull out in the middle of the road.
Oh yeah, that's been a big problem for a long time now.
They just jump out and go.
Yeah, there's a lot of recklessness that's a lot of these irresponsible storm chasers are doing these days, and a lot of it's just these kids that don't really have any knowledge. They just want to get out and try to see stuff. So a lot of that's what that is. I know a lot of the more veteran seasoned chasers that are really good ones, like Eric Fox, Brandy Clement, and like Reed Timmer. They really, really, really despise those guys because they make it very dangerous. And we've had, in the last 5 or 10 years, we've had several chasers killed as a result of reckless driving and whatnot. So and with movies like Twister coming out this summer, that just makes them want to chase even more. So that makes it even more dangerous. I don't get to chase much anymore because whenever we have severe weather, I'm here in the studio. But the few times I have gone out in the last 5+ years or so, I have had some issues with running into chaser convergence. So down towards Archer City, we don't want to forget about you. We got some hail about to move over the city. Heavy rain there now, and mostly small hail with that thunderstorm in Archer City. Down to the south, some pretty heavy rain with that thunderstorm around Timber. That's going to make its way up towards Archer City too, and could be some hail with that. And then you got the thunderstorms that are really going now across our southern counties. I think that Cameron, and I don't know, I guess it was the lack of better moisture, but the models, at least initially, did not do a good job of handling this at all.
You know, when I did my forecast last night, they showed a cluster of storms coming through southeast Texas, which is large, like a linear system. And it kind of showed hints of some, isolated, stronger storms coming through our area, but it was very heavily capped on the atmosphere.
Well, those brand new NSSL models that they've just come out with, they did show some pretty good activity. But the problem with those, they only come out. Number one, they're sporadic anyway. They don't always come out, but they only come out twice a day. But they did do a pretty good job of showing this. And the HER model started doing a pretty good job with it this morning, yeah. So we thought isolated stuff, but this wound up being a little more widespread. And I'd say our computer models just did not do a good job. I don't think they did a good job with moisture either. I think with moisture was a little bit better than what they were showing.
That's been lately. That's kind of been a talk lately. Is that there's just the models have not done well with moisture.
And your algorithm that you're following, about 70% tornado probs, was off. I think that what it was off with that, and what you guys are hearing is just Cameron and I are having a conversation, and what they were off with was I think that they were banking too much on shear as opposed to instability and whatnot. So, but I believe if we would have had better CAPE values this afternoon, I do believe that it probably would have done verified, honestly. The shear is there. We knew the shear was going to be there. We knew that wasn't going to be an issue. So, I got people sending me movies and whatnot here. So, or sending me pictures and whatnot of the storms and whatnot. But we are watching these thunderstorms here pretty closely this afternoon and this evening. So a lot of heavy rain and a lot of hail. And it looks like the hail sizes are trying to increase a little bit down towards Archer City.
Archer City is a good looking storm.
Yeah, it kind of has a little bit of a supercell look to it. But it's probably got a little. I bet it's got a bit of a wall cloud with it down there probably. But those storms down to the south, down towards Graham and those areas, those are little supercells too. Are probably going to choke it off, I would imagine. So if you look, I'll widen this. The only tornado warning we have today is the one there in Jefferson County. There were earlier a couple warnings up there in parts of the eastern Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma. But, at least initially, that's where the Storm Prediction Center was kind of targeting things, was up in that area. They really didn't go with much down our way. So, yeah, you do see a little rotation with that down near Archer City. A little bit.
Is the when it comes to rotation with storms, it's not like energy where once the storm takes the energy's gone. That wind shear obviously is going to shift, but it kind of stays in place, right? I mean, it's moving, but it doesn't get eaten up like Cape does.
No, but what can happen though is whenever you get thunderstorms and they start producing winds and different wind motions and whatnot, they can oftentimes cause the can cause the winds to change directions. With a lot of thunderstorms, you're obviously going to get westerly winds behind it. Trying to read the weather service to see if they're saying they're likely seeing gusty winds. Yeah, so we're seeing them down here in Wichita Falls. Back to the tornado warning storm. While there might be some silo contamination between Ronnie and now collected the high reflectivity values. What would you say the winds are outside right now?
I could open the door really quick.
Just go out there and just look at it, and then we'll let the weather service know what we're seeing as far as the rains and not go. So. I will say this, I am watching a little weak rotation with this storm, kind of down towards Archer City. Nothing that's imminent, nothing that looks tornadic, but there is a little weak rotation down there at this hour with this little supercell thunderstorm. I still think the main threat in Archer City is hail, but we'll keep an eye and make sure it doesn't do what the Jefferson County storm has done. Speaking of the Jefferson County storm, I want to go back up there and kind of take a look at it and see. If you look, basically, looks like those winds have gotten pretty strong now over into eastern parts of Clay County. And it looks like you might even be seeing a tiny bit of rotation over in eastern Clay County now as well. Let me put that up here on my live stream here. So if you look, looks like we got some rotation developing along the Wichita and Clay County border at this hour. So definitely going to be wrapped in rain, but it looks like there's some rotation. You can kind of see the little updraft there in it. I still think this is mostly a wind signature, but we'll probably have to keep an eye on it. There's a little bit of a spin there, just probably over Dean at this hour, I'd say.
Kind of following the same trajectory.
That's kind of the area. Yep. I mean, it might do the same thing. Remember, this is feeding off of air that's untouched. It's not like it's feeding off of rain-cooled air. And even sometimes when you get these thunderstorms that are mostly outflow dominant, sometimes you can still get these winds to wrap around, because what happens is oftentimes those winds that are outflow dominant can sometimes create horizontal vorticity because they roll.
Right.
And if a thunderstorm can start to, can get some sustained rotation, it can start to ingest that. So you can get tornadoes with that still. That's why you have to watch it. Any supercell that can develop in these lines. And we are seeing a little supercell. So there is some rotation showing up over Dean. So if you're watching this near Dean, there is a little rotation showing up near you, wrapped in rain. You can almost see the hook here on it. Right over Dean. I'll draw it here on my radar there. I wish there was a way you could draw on this GR level 2, but I'm not aware of how you do that.
Later on, I can show you something to download.
Okay.
On the screen.
Okay. So let me move this. I'm sorry about that. People saying they can't see the radar, so let me move it a little bit. So as of right now, let me go over the warnings we have. We got Jefferson County, southeast Jefferson County. We got Wichita County, Archer County, and no doubt we're going to see Clay and Clay County added in on that as well. No warnings down towards Graham or any of those areas yet, but it's probably coming. It looks like the warning for Wichita County has been canceled or allowed to expire. I'm going to watch the Weather Service and see. They are saying that the hail size is increasing in Archer County. Well, I mean, I'm on air. I can't eat it right now, but yeah, maybe later. So we are keeping an eye on it. Nothing from the Weather Service here yet on what they're going to do with warnings. But I do see, like I said, Cameron, there is some rotation there, but kind of broad, nothing super tight, nothing to be too concerned with. Now, there is some still rotation, probably still have this, and I don't have anything confirmed, but there looks like there's still probably maybe some type of a weak couplet over here into Clay County. I would think there's probably a little weak tornado here. You can see it on radar. Look at the little gate-to-gate couplet shear you see there. Mm-hmm. But, that to me looks like that's kind of a bit, maybe even a bit undercut by outflow on that. That's kind of been the case. So it's kind of wrapped in rain. You still see this kind of north of Oscar. Kind of north of Grady there near Adderley, kind of moving northeast up towards maybe Grady, or kind of mostly over rural parts of Jefferson County. But could be a little weak tornado in that area. Stronger winds over into Clay County. No warning. I'm surprised there's no warning out for that. That's at least severe thunderstorm warning, because that's some pretty strong winds there. Velocity couplet re-intensified. Jefferson County just northwest of Grady. Yeah, let me see that. So we got people asking questions on social media. I'm trying to get to some of those here, Cameron. I'll pull back up reflectivity so we can get that going, and we'll answer questions the best we can. I do see rotation over there. So
Ken, that big storm, the one that's over Oklahoma, is at 450, 0 to 1 SRH.
Yeah, that's very strong. So Cameron's talking about SRH. And what SRH is, it represents storm relative helicity, okay? And it gets really, really, really confusing, honestly. It can get super confusing because these are a lot of technical terms, and I get it. And I'll admit it's not the easiest thing in the world to be able to describe to you. But what happens is when you get these strong winds in the atmosphere, what it does is it creates a horizontal spin, kind of a bit of a roll. Sometimes you can't even see it. Most of the time you can't even see it. It's usually invisible, but it causes the atmosphere to kind of turn a little bit. And when you get thunderstorms that have those updrafts, they begin to ingest that horizontal roll, and it makes them become more vertical. Now, the stronger that spin is, the more likely it is for the storm to produce a tornado. And the stronger it is, if there's enough storm energy with it, it will allow the storms to produce larger, stronger tornadoes. But in this instance, I don't believe that there's enough spin, or enough energy to really be able to realize that spin in the atmosphere, or to really be able to be in a situation where you're actually going to get tornadoes out of that, because there's just not enough instability. And these storms, people are asking, how fast are these storms moving? They're moving really fast, really, really fast. I still can't believe that there is no warning out for Clay County. So I do want to tell folks in Clay County, you need to be keeping an eye on this storm here. Even though there's no severe thunderstorm warning, there should be, and I would imagine the Weather Service will issue one at some point. This has some really strong winds, and I do see a bit of a notch in there, just northeast of Dean, or right over Dean actually, and it's going to kind of move up towards Petrolia. So if you are in the Petrolia area, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I would watch this storm pretty closely, because I really do think it's got some strong winds in it. Archer City, you're probably getting some hail at this hour. What size, I don't know, but it looks like there could at least be some hail that might get up to perhaps maybe the size of quarters down your way. So expect the hail to increase in Archer City shortly. Bowie. People are asking me about Bowie, Cameron. As of right now, Bowie is quiet, but there's a lot of storms that's off to your west and to your southwest. And these are kind of moving to the east-northeast. So I would think, and since they're moving so quickly, 9 o'clock time frame, there could be some storms in your area. Mostly going to be a wind and hail threat, low-end tornado threats. So I'm going to stop this from moving at this hour, and I'm going to kind of go a little bit closer in there and kind of investigate what's going on with the little spin there near Dean. You don't see any tight couplets in there, so that is good news. But very strong winds there that blowing out, that are kind of heading over towards Petrolia, or just north of Henrietta, kind of over into those areas. So strong wind gusts, nothing tornadic, but some strong wind gusts down that way. Archer City, you're mostly looking at hail at this hour. Most of it's pretty small. So Cameron, you got your tornado net up there. What do you see? What do you see with that?
Basically this is it's an AI tornado probability, and I don't know exactly how it works. It's kind of like, just takes into account radar data, the atmospheric conditions, and then it has AI overlapped on it, and then we see tornado probabilities emerge from it based off the software. So right now the best probabilities are northeast of Wichita Falls, which is where that storm is currently tracking. This is on a 1 hour increment, that storm that is just east of the falls right now. And then off to the due south of Wichita Falls in southern Texas, it looks like that's the one over Graham has some okay probabilities. Now, don't take this for verbatim. This is an experimental product. This is not an official product. This is something that is, you call it up and coming, something they're trying to use, see if it works or not. So it's not something to take verbatim. It's kind of a bit more of a guidance system right now, just kind of see how this thing is performing. We haven't really used it much, so we don't know how reliable it is right now, but I've seen a lot of case studies where this does prove to be pretty well. So
it does okay, from what I've seen, at least in our area, it does okay. I've seen it, I think it did a pretty good job with analyzing as far as the rotating part of the storm over us, but I think that it was too high on its prob. So
yeah.
Report of torrential rain in Archer City, but no hail as of yet.
Okay, thank you. So torrential rain, no hail in Archer City at this hour, which is, that's good news. Cameron, one thing I do like is the fact that we got our 24/7 channel now, and we're able to, to reach more people. I tell you what, I can't believe there's not a warning out there in Archer County. I mean, over in Clay County, that's got some really good spin with it.
Yes, it's not, it's got good spin, but just knowing what the environment is, I'm surprised they also haven't issued a warning on that either.
I mean, it should be at least severe thunderstorm warning, if nothing else. So
you're probably still at least getting severe wind gusts with
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, that's some big-time Boeing winds there. There's no reason for there not to be a warning out for that. I don't understand what they're thinking. I love our weather service, and they do a great job, but I do believe that should be severe thunderstorm warning there. So, all right, so I can now say that the folks that are west of this line are in the severe clear. So people are asking about observed sounding from aircraft at DFW Airport, 60 SRH. Wow, that's 600 SRH. That's pretty strong like I say, if we had more in the way of soupy air, tropical air in place, I would definitely be very concerned about what's going on. But I really actually am concerned about that northern Clay County storm. I really am. I mean, that thing has really got some strong winds in it, and it's wrapping up. It's got some spin. Probably got an area of low pressure with it, I would think. Meso low probably developing there on it, so near Dean. I don't have anything confirmed. I just can't believe we don't at least have a severe thunderstorm warning out for that storm at this point in time, because it is got some strong winds with it for sure. So I'm going to kind of expand this out some, and my people that are watching on YouTube and on the Facebook, watching these heavy storms this afternoon. Let me see if there's any other questions here going on. People
Archer City storm has some spin on it.
Let's look at it here and see. I'll do a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I've been watching that some. Nothing significant, but there's a little bit of a spin down there on it. Nothing major at this time. This storm system really, we knew it was going to have a lot of wind energy with it, and it does. And we're seeing it, kind of realize with some of these strong wind gusts this afternoon. When I was in, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They did put something out regarding that storm over Witchita, but they only put out a special weather statement regarding it.
Well, like I say, those guys are good, but I just feel like that should have a severe thunderstorm warning for it at least. So I don't officially issue warnings. But I do tell people, hey, you need to watch this. We need to watch this, and I think northern Clay County need to watch it for strong winds, if nothing else, moving into Petrolia and north of Henrietta. Little hail there too. South of there, it's mostly just a line of thunderstorms down into Archer City. Some hail. Most of that is small. So thank you for the birthday wishes, everybody. So Eric Fox says, low Cape, high shear. I've yet to see a tornado with a winter coat on. Did you have a winter coat on today? It was cool outside today. It really wasn't that warm. So thank you there, Melissa, for the birthday wish. I appreciate that. So let's see here. We got Archer City. We got 0.88 inch hail reported in Archer City. The little green triangle represents 1 inch hail possible in the thunderstorm. Still watching for those strong wind gusts here in it. I did for most of the day. I had my heater on at my house. Scott said, happy birthday, Ken. Thank you. But yeah, I just we talked about this a lot, Eric and I, and then Cameron and I, and Jaden. We've all been talking about this for the last couple of days now. We said it would probably be a situation where we just didn't have enough low level moisture. But some spin ups, can't be ruled out. When you just get wind shear this strong, it can happen. But it just, to get anything strong and like really bad, it just typically doesn't happen. It does. Well, you have this persistent rotation though near Adderley, over there into Jefferson County, and it's just like periodic little bouts of shear there in it. That maybe some weak spin ups in it maybe. Nothing major, but you kind of got that up north of Grady and headed towards Ringland. If there is a tornado in that, it would be very, very weak. I don't expect anything major with that.
I think we're kind of in that period where you're dealing with spin-ups, which spin-ups are typically usually around EF0 or so.
Yes, sir. That's true. One good thing about you guys, Cameron, you guys come in. You all are pretty tech savvy, and you come up with this good information for us here. So that's definitely good, and the tornado net thing you have there, I like that.
Try to bring new things to the table.
Yeah. So while we can't show that on air, we can talk about it, right?
Yeah, we can.
So that's a good tool. Any tool you have to help you out is always definitely good. So. We're going to watch this tornado warning for just a little while. Now, all right, going back to the severe clear areas here. So the severe clear area, anywhere west of this line, is in the clear now. I think Wichita Falls is probably in the clear now. There's some storms south of us, but those are moving more east than they are northeast. So Wichita Falls, I think severe clear. Archer City, you're going to be in the clear here pretty soon. A little bit more storminess to go. Seymour, Vernon, Lawton, Altus, Quanah, Kroll, all those areas severe clear. What I mean by that is that the threat for severe weather is over with for you. But the areas we still, we'll keep in the concerned area. That would be Graham, Jacksboro, Henrietta, Clay County there, Montague. You haven't gotten in on it yet, but you will. It's headed towards you and it's moving quickly. So I would say, these storms probably into the Bowie area, maybe 9:30, maybe an hour from now. There could be some storms over here. Some storms developing to your southwest, could be sooner. So, Graham, those areas getting in on it. But once these storms move on through, that's it. Nothing's redeveloping behind it. So, if you're asking about Iowa Park, you're asking about Warrika Lake. Now, Warrika Lake, you're not clear yet. You've got this line moving through. So you could still see some downpours and gusty winds with that. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Strong wind, very strong winds with that storm there south of Petrolia. You can see how it just kind of wraps up on the radar there.
Looks like that Archer City storm is losing some of its structure.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So, I don't see anything from the Weather Service about what they're going to do. But Dean, 30-mile-per-hour winds with that. So not quite as strong as I was thinking they would be on radar. 30-mile-per-hour winds in Dean. But that's a good bow echo pushing through there for sure. I do appreciate all the birthday wishes here on the chat there. I do appreciate them. Maybe we can get, we may have to do this all over again next weekend, Cameron. We'll have to see. It's too soon. I don't like to get too specific with anything, but active weather pattern, pretty big storm system next weekend. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how it all develops.
I'll be here.
I know you will. And the good thing about you and Jaden, you guys, I don't even have to tell Jaden to come in. He came in.
Yep.
And that's what you like. That's what you want. You want your crew to just come in without, even in a situation like today where I knew I could handle this, I could handle this in studio by myself. But Jaden comes in, and it's just great to know you got that support there. It's great. It's great to know that. So I'm happy to know that. Still watching the storms. No word on what they're going to do with the warning over there in Jefferson County. There's still rotation on that. I imagine that the rotation is probably wrapped in rain, most likely. I would imagine it's very, very wrapped. That cell is actually merging with a lot of other thunderstorms over that way, so you really don't see as much in the way of tight rotation. But there still could be something brief in there.
They just put a warning out for that entire line.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm not surprised. So they're going 60-mile-per-hour winds there, and the Archer County, Jefferson County, severe thunderstorm warnings from Jefferson County, Clay County, Archer County. So they do have a warning that's coming out for this whole entire line. So, well, Eric, that's good, man. You got, you're a storm chaser, and you go where you need to go to do what you got to do. I understand that. And it was a situation today where there was really no clear-cut area that was going to, be any better than any other location. I mean, I don't think there was hardly anything up there in, Kansas or even in Oklahoma wasn't much. Most of it was down our way.
Started out in the Panhandle and then worked its way into here.
Yeah, there was definitely some. I think there was a couple, maybe some brief touchdowns there in the Eastern Panhandle, but just LCLs are just too high, I think. So I got people asking, what are your thoughts on this year's tornado season? Well, we're into our tornado season now, which I always classify. And there's your new warnings that cover, they cover basically the eastern part of Archer County over into Clay County and Jefferson County. Nothing in Monte yet, but it's coming. Just give it about an hour, it'll be there. But people are, so Grady, I'm not sure, is Grady over here? Is that in Jefferson County? I had somebody asking about Grady, Oklahoma.
Let me look for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. I see Grady now. So let me answer this guy's question. There's Grady. And what's been going on over here in Jefferson County is we've just had periodic bouts of these little embedded spins. Nothing major. And if there has been anything, it's been very, very weak and very brief. So this is north of Grady now, kind of head towards Ringland, but it just looks real disorganized to me. In fact, the warning has been allowed to expire or been canceled. I still say that this on the back side still bears watching Because what you have going on here on the back side of there's a new tornado warning. This is from Adderley over in towards the Ardmore area. You still have some little spin ups possible in there, but what you got going on over here in the Petrolia area, and see that to me that couplet's getting a little bit tighter in there. You've kind of got some dancing motions with the wind, so I'm surprised. Weather Service really ain't talking about it much, really, are they?
Could always ask them. Up there, yep. Someone asked for
KSWO. So I'm sure they'll answer in a minute. But we've been watching it. So there is a little rotation there just south of Petrolia. You got real strong winds in this thunderstorm. Very strong wind gust. And in addition to that, you got the bowing feature. So you've got the bowing feature down here. But you've got also, as it bows out, oftentimes you get a little area of low pressure that develops, and you get those winds wrapping back around. So you do got spin. There is rotation in this thunderstorm just south of Petrolia, and it's kind of headed towards Stanfield, going across the northern part of Clay County. This is going to pass Henrietta. No tornado warning with that at this time. Mostly just going to let it. The Weather Service is just letting it cover the warning with a severe thunderstorm warning. They're not going to cover it with a tornado at this point in time. But it wouldn't surprise me if it continues to show this at some point that they do go tornado warning with it. So somebody asked me about Graham. Let's go down to Graham and take a look at Graham. So from this vantage point, what I see with the Graham storm is just some heavy rain and what looks like mostly smaller hail. And the latest velocity is kind of weakened with that anyway. You still see a little rotation with that Jefferson County storm up north of Adelaide, kind of passing south of Ringling. So when we go down into the Graham area, and as of right now, Graham, there's a decent cell down that way. But, what it is basically just heavy rain. The worst part of that storm is actually north of Graham, moving kind of north. It's going to kind of move into the eastern parts of Young County, then over into Jack County. But there are some downpours showing up, about to move over the city. Those do not look all that heavy at this time. So maybe some quick downpours. There's also some stronger storms down south of Breckenridge and kind of heading towards PK in those areas. That's a little supercell up north of Graham. In Archer City at this hour, we've got heavy rain and small hail continuing, but it doesn't look as though that this is as intense as it was. Looks like it's kind of merging with a lot of other thunderstorms in kind of that line. So just mostly smaller hail with that, and that's building over into Clay County. Now, Henrietta, these storms are about to be, they're knocking on your door. You're probably getting some rain there now, maybe some gusty winds, especially north of you. That's where the strongest winds are. But you'll probably see at least some bouts of some mostly small hail there as these storms make their way to the east-northeast, but nothing too major, at this point in time. Only tornado warning we have is that one over there in Jefferson County, and it should be getting out of there pretty soon. Still watching this area over here into Clay County. If it continues to do that, Cameron, we could see some warnings come out for that. Wouldn't be surprising at all. So
it looks like as it's continuing to push further east, it's getting tighter and tighter with the.
Yeah, you can see the broad rotation. Pretty strong wind gusts now coming into Henrietta too, but they're probably in the line of 30 to 40 mile per hour winds down there. Strongest are north of Henrietta, headed right at the eastern part of Clay County. So anywhere east of Petrolia, probably going to move right along the Red River there and kind of headed into Jefferson County, the southern part of Jefferson County. And, there's the latest update. Really see nice spin with that storm down there. Really nice spin, but it's broad. Probably just mostly just strong winds there. Nothing tornadic at this time, but if they can wrap in, you definitely could see a tornado warning come out of that. So, but they would have to be. I think it would have to be, a little bit moisture, a little more moisture in the air to really be more concerned about that. Plus, it could be ingesting some of this cooler air from these storms to the east, maybe. I don't know that to be the case, but it's possible. But we are seeing some strong winds now just north of Henrietta. I can put this into motion. You can see how strong these winds are. Over the north side, probably some 30, 40 mile per hour winds there in Henrietta. And that's moving pretty quickly. A lot of people are asking about Bowie, but, there's nothing imminent in Bowie. And I still think it'll be an hour or more before they probably get the stronger storms will get there to Bowie. But there are some storms west and southwest of you. I'm getting hungry, Cameron.
I hear you.
You've already eaten, my man.
I saved you some dinner, don't worry.
Seriously, I did.
I do appreciate it.
It's your birthday.
So, but we are continuing to kind of keep an eye on these. Nothing that's imminent. So, are we going to have a tornado season here in Texas? Because it seems like OK gets most of the tornado. Well, it's hard to say. You never really know until you kind of get into the season. The weather pattern is very active, at least early on. You primarily think of tornado season in our part of the country, April and May. And it certainly does look active into the early parts of April. But the question is, will we be able to, with this progressive weather pattern, how much moisture are we going to be able to build up? How much in the way of instability is going to be present? There's more factors to it than just strong weather systems pushing through. A very active weather pattern, and if it can team up with some moisture, yeah, we definitely could.
So that's been our biggest limiter lately, is we just don't get much moisture. Like I said, we haven't had time to basically let the atmosphere build for a couple of days.
Well, it happens, so we're not. It's not It's not uncommon.
Well, you would probably definitely say this is early.
Oh yeah, this is very early on in the season. For anything, we usually don't get much here. We just don't have enough time to moisten up. It's still a little bit cool here at this time of the year, so we don't really usually get a lot here. It can happen. But April's the month you really have to start watching, because as it gets warmer, you start getting a larger reservoir of moisture that builds up down in the Gulf of Mexico. So it doesn't take as much for that to kind of move on in. So as you get these stronger storm systems, they have a chance for all this activity to kind of team up with some of that. But it just depends on how everything kind of shapes up. So for right now, I'm going to say pretty active at least into April. At least the early to mid parts of April. We'll have to wait and see what happens in May, because as of late, what's happened in May is the jet stream has gone away. You have to have those storms, the jet stream, the wind energy to get all that, and you just haven't seen it lately in May. Last year we got it in June, so we'll just have to kind of wait and see how it looks as we get into May. But at least over the next week or two, it still looks pretty active in terms of storm systems that potentially could produce severe weather. So that's kind of all I have to say about it as of right now. Still got a little rotation over there north of Adelaide. Probably still got some little spin-ups over that way. And the rotation remains very broad over into Clay County, south and east of Byers and Petrolia. The tornado threat is very, 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 very low. Very low, Denise. And, there is that tornado warning over in the Ringling area. You've actually got what looks like a little bit of a spin there just south of Ringling, kind of headed towards Ringling. If we do have tornadoes in this storm here, that would be pretty brief, very, very brief. Spin-ups, probably weak, probably in the order of something like, EF0, EF1 type things. So that could be a possibility there in Ringling. So that's, yeah, go ahead.
I want to kind of pick your brain a little bit. You have a lot of wind shear today, a lot of turning in the atmosphere. Why we've had these pretty decent supercells? Why are they not? I mean, we haven't seen anything confirmed, but why is the idea that they're not producing? Is it because just the limited amount of moisture you've had today?
I believe so. Yeah, they were surface based, but it gets real complicated, Cameron. It probably is a situation where there just wasn't enough available moisture at the Earth's surface to really help create that that stretch needed. You really got to have vorticity.
Right.
And to get that vorticity, you got to have a lower pressure, and oftentimes you get that lower pressure when you get the warmer temperatures. And I just don't believe it was quite warm enough for that to take place today. I believe that's really what happened. You were ingesting cooler air into these thunderstorm updrafts, and while they were still able to produce wall clouds and spin because there wasn't enough shear in the atmosphere for it, there just wasn't enough energy between the bottom layer of the clouds and the Earth's surface to get that pressure to be low enough to help stretch that column down to the Earth's surface. So, it's like Eric Fox said, it's just, you just don't see them very often when it's cool outside like this. I mean, you can, but it's just very seldom. I mean, I've seen tornadoes before with snow on the ground, but it just doesn't happen very often. They just called it. Did they summon you?
They got summoned.
All right. Cameron got summoned to the newsroom. have a little conversation there. But yeah, we still got this little possible spin there, and I would even argue and say, even though I haven't had anything confirmed as far as anything tornadic, but there still is this little small couplet that's showing up just north of Adderley and probably very close to Cornish and Ringling. You know, it doesn't look like anything major, but there's probably there could be a brief spin up in this area. So if you're in Ringling, there's probably a little tornado on the ground there, I would think, probably. But again, probably very weak and probably pretty brief. But certainly does look like, you know, it could be in your area there. So we'll see that. It should move through pretty quickly. And then it's going to kind of head over towards Heldton and over towards the Ardmore area. This is kind of getting out of my viewing area. So I am watching this this big, large, broad rotation over here into Clay County. It hasn't wrapped up yet. You probably have what's called a meso-low. Meso basically is spin, but meso also means small. So you probably have a meso-low. You can see the spin, the counterclockwise spin in it. So you got a little area of low pressure there east of Petrolia. But it's broad. It's probably associated with the rotating updraft of that thunderstorm, and it's producing some strong straight line winds. There's a little bit wrapping back into it, but nothing that has been able to wrap up and produce a tornado. This one over there towards Ringling and Cornish, again, I haven't had any reports of anything on the ground with it, but it's certainly possible that that could have something small with it, very small. Couplet near Ringling is weakening, broadening as it enters Carter County. Most of what I'm seeing here today has been hail reports. That's mostly what we've seen is hail reports. I really have not seen much in the way of wind reports or anything like that. So still perhaps maybe some very weak rotation near Ringling, perhaps maybe a weak rotation, weak tornado heading over into Carter County. It should be out of there pretty soon. And then we'll watch this storm as it crosses over into Ryan, and looks like it's going to move north of the Red River, north of Nacona, and north of Montague. So if we look down to the south, some pretty strong winds blowing through Henrietta a short while ago, probably some pretty good rain down that way. Let's go to, give me a second here, go back into this. Maybe some very small pea-sized hail in Henrietta. A lot of this activity is weakening as it moves to the east, which is good news. It's kind of becoming more linear. Any tornado threats associated with these storms are very low. But look at that. You can almost see this is kind of bounded weak echo region is what this is called here. And what you see is in the reflectivity, you can see this donut. Okay. The updraft in a thunderstorm is usually void of any rain. Oftentimes can be void, and what you're seeing there is a donut. So there's your updraft. It's surrounded by rain, but right there in the middle, that's your updraft. Usually, oftentimes, that does indicate a pretty strong, what we call a mesocyclone or strong updraft. So, oftentimes it can lead to an increase in hail production. But in this case, it's really not ingesting real warm air. So I don't think we're going to get huge hail out of this. Mostly what we see out of that is small. But, as we put that in motion, you can really see how all that wraps up there. That's that little area of low pressure I was talking about, that meso-low. Now you can see it real good there. So, somebody wants to know about Henrietta? Yes, sir? Okay. So, somebody wanted to know about Henrietta. Henrietta, you are in good shape. There's some good rain moving through, but the strongest winds have now pushed through. You might see some small hail, but that's really about it. These storms are crossing into southern parts of Clay County. You're going to see an increase in storms north in Jack County, north of Jacksboro. This, in time, develops up towards Bowie and Bellevue, Montague, and Nacona. Gets all in on this activity here pretty soon. The threat with this activity, though, remains small hail, gusty winds, and downpours is what you're mostly going to be looking at with this. So,
Ken, can you give me a science lesson or a refresher?
Yeah.
Remind me what the B word or the bounded weak echo region is. What's happening?
It's just showing you the updraft.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, you can see it. A lot of times you can't see it. A lot of times you don't see this at level 1. We're shooting down low in the storm. Usually you see this aloft.
Right.
So usually you go up through the thunderstorm and you can see it as it. And there's also with the strong thunderstorms, oftentimes you'll see what's called an overhang too, which means you can see the updraft tilting because you go up and it'll displace it in different areas, and then you'll see precipitation overhanging in an area that doesn't have that the low level doesn't show. That a lot of times it indicates a real strong supercell. So these are pretty strong to see these bewares down to the Earth's surface. So it's pretty impressive. Corey, don't be too worried. Corey's one of our TikTok guys. Don't be too worried about that down there. You're going to be fine. I mean, it really isn't that bad. Bowie, just some rain and some small hail. Is Vernon done? Yes, Vernon is done for the night, definitely. So, yeah, Eric talking about the Eric talked about the low-level lapse rates killed it, and you're right. You've got to have. He's right. You got to have warmer air at the Earth's surface to get those lapse rates to help get that vorticity down to the Earth's surface. So, it's just a little bit early. I can remember it was 3 years ago we had that tornado in Jacksboro, like 3 years ago this past week, I think it was. And it developed along, it's kind of a situation not too much different than this. Strong storm system, pretty cool air, but it developed along a warm front. Warm front changes the game, completely changes the game. And it was, triple point kind of down in that area. Right. And that's what really caused all of that. So heavy rain moving across southern Clay County, a little hail there too. So Bellevue, the hail will probably increase down your way. There's some storms. Graham, there's some storms around you too, but they're not all that strong or all that intense. They're mostly weak. So, all right, Eric, you have a good night too, buddy. Have a good night too. So, well, look at that strong wind there coming out of that storm. And that's a good wind. That's some strong winds there. So, Ryan, you got strong winds moving in your area. It looks like the tornado threat is pretty much ending for Jefferson County. Maybe a little weak rotation near Greenland, but most of that is over into Carter County now. You can see that meso low there associated with that strong storm. You don't really see the rotation anymore with it. It's mostly pretty broad and kind of stretched out. So definitely just a wind signature there. Could be some really strong winds. I'd say at least 50 plus, heading into southern Jefferson County and perhaps moving across the northern parts of Montague County. So from about Ringgold and north of Belcherville, near and north of Nocona, late Nocona, those areas, we'll watch for some strong winds there with that storm pretty soon. Down towards Windthorst and Scotland, some pretty good wind there. At least some brief wind gusts down that way with the storms. Those storms are producing a lot of rain. And you're going to see these storms merge with these storms to the south soon. That's what heads towards Montague County. So Montague County, you will see some warnings come out, probably for some hail and wind gusts, maybe even northern Jack County. Then that's also going to be moving over into Wise and probably over there north of the Metroplex over the next couple of hours. But most of our area, exception of the eastern counties, is about to get out of this severe weather here really, really soon. So Wichita Falls, the threat has now ended. Henrietta, not quite in the clear yet because you still got these heavy rain areas moving through. I think the worst of the weather is over with for there, but still some downpours and some small hail possible. Yes, sir.
When Priscilla called me in the newsroom, she said her car had hail dents in it.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
I hope mine didn't have it. I mean, all I saw here, but we didn't see all of it.
Right.
It was mostly just like quarter size hail.
When I was in downtown, it was about ping pong to golf ball size hail.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah, it sounded about like that to me too, honestly.
And it was like a light switch. It'd be calm, and then it just hits you, and it's a mess.
Right. Yeah, Jason, mostly over at Lake Nocona is what we call gradient winds with the storm system itself, all that wind energy. So you're getting gradient winds over there, but you'll get some stronger wind gusts with these storms here pretty soon. There'll be thunderstorm-related wind gusts. So, but overall, not a bad day. Good chance for us to get a little bit of a warm-up in over the last couple of weeks here, last couple of days here. Get a little warm-up so we can get ready for the, if and when we get a bigger system on down the road here. We are in that time of the year, and it's just severe weather. It's just a part of life here in the U.S. The Tornado Alley area and over in the Dixie Alley over in the southeastern part of the country, and it really hadn't been a lot of severe weather. We've had that one event that took place there in, a little bit in Arkansas a couple weeks ago, a little bit up there in Ohio and Indiana, and some in Illinois. But overall, there hadn't been a lot. Like the southeastern part of the country hadn't seen anything. It's just because it's been too cool.
Yeah.
So, But we'll see, if they can get in on the act here pretty soon. See if it's anything that they need to worry about over there here. So there could be some severe weather over there tomorrow. I think it's mostly linear, but I don't really I really haven't looked that closely at it, to be honest about it. So
I was a bit more focused on here today.
Yep, me too. That's what I've been mostly focused on. So, well, so Reed is in Archer City. Well, I mean, I don't know what Reed is after, honestly. I guess he's trying. Reed is going to the Mississippi. So I think he may be done chasing the stuff for the day, and he may just be trying to work his way south and east. So, the tornado threat for Jefferson County is ended now too, by the way. And we'll watch over here in Monte County and make sure. I just don't feel very confident that this stuff's gonna spin up anything, Cameron. I really don't.
No, I think it's on the downtrend. So you're still gonna see some strong winds, especially that one north of Henrietta going towards Ryan. That thing is really starting to pick up some serious winds on it.
Yeah, it is. Southern Jefferson County and right along the river there in Monte County. Yeah, it's got some strong wind gusts there in it. But other than that, though, I really don't see anything out there that's too impressive on radar. I do expect, like I said earlier, the severe weather threats to increase in Monte County here pretty soon. But I would think that mostly that would be rain with perhaps a little wind and some hail. I don't really see anything here. Velocity data is somewhat messy, but there could be some embedded circulations. That's what that storm over there in that's moving east of Jefferson County. So, all right, well. I think, Cameron, that we can probably jump off now of the 24/7 channel. And I'm probably going to jump off the stream, too.
Go home and enjoy what's left.
Yeah, I'm going to go get me a bite to eat and get something to eat now. So, Jacob up in the studio, you can take us off the 24/7 channel now. So, probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably run home and get a bite to eat here, I think. I'm going to leave, you know how to operate everything here, right? I'm going to leave this here in case you need to do some Facebook Lives or whatnot. And then when you're done with it, just, I don't know, man. I feel less.
Do you think we'll need Facebook Lives going forward the rest of the night?
Well, I mean, we do got this Monte County. Only thing I believe concerned about is Monte County. Because there's going to be a warning issue for there. I'll tell you what, you can do a Facebook Live on your phone if you need to. So just do it on your phone. So that's what we're going to do, because I do expect some severe warnings out for Monte County, maybe even Jack County too. So what Cameron's going to do is he'll have updates on Facebook here for you too as well. He'll use his phone to do it with. I'm going to go home because the stuff is on the downtrend. He'll keep an eye on it for you if anything needs to.
You can watch at 10 o'clock as well.
If anything is on the, if anything's needed to be updated, he will update you. And also, we'll have the latest on News Channel 69 at 10 o'clock. So thank you guys for joining me on the 24/7 channel. Thank you guys for joining me on TikTok. And thank you for all the birthday wishes. Let me see something here. Can you answer the question, do you have a license for meteorologist? Yes, I do. I got a license. Cameron, you got a license?
I do have a license. I carry it in my wallet.
Yeah, I got a license. So if the weather police pull me over, I can show it to them. So. Sorry, Reed. We're just giving you a hard time. We have degrees in weather. We both have a degree from Mississippi State University in meteorology. So that was fun. We really were just playing with you, Rudy. That was fun. Thank you for that question, though. That was funny.
All in good fun.
All in good fun. Yeah. So, but thank you for all the new follows here on TikTok. Thank you for the birthday wishes. And thank you guys for allowing us to be your go-to source for weather. And we look forward to serving you throughout the remainder of this storm season. Cameron, one of these days we'll get this podcast working. We've tried.
Yeah.
I just had audio issues, but one of these days we'll finally get it.
Audio issues, crazy schedules.
Yeah, we'll finally get it, and we'll start getting some podcast stuff out there for you, so you can get to know the real Ken, the real Cameron, and the real Jaden.
Miranda's asking how she follows me.
Let's see, Cameron. Let's see. What is your?
Cameron Lindsay, it's just Cameron Lindsay, First Alert 6 meteorologist.
So on Facebook, it's just Cameron Lindsay, First Alert meteorologist.
First Alert 6.
Oh, sorry, First Alert 6 meteorologist. On TikTok, what are you?
Weatherman.cam.
Weatherman.cam. So, it's easy to follow there. So, but he'll have you covered. I got confidence in him. And then later on tonight, Jaden will be in, but the storm should be over with by then. There's like a little new development down there near Newcastle, so that's probably kind of the back edge of the dry line there, pushing on through. That'll pass well southeast of Wichita Falls. So, we'll, Cameron's got you covered here. But anyway, I'm going to go home and eat, and I will see y'all a little bit later on down the line. Thank you. You're the best. We appreciate it, Miranda. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you for the birthday wishes, and I am out. Peace.